everybody. Welcome to 13th Jurors WTF every other Sunday between 8:30 and 8:40. You know, it just depends on when the kids are ready to go to bed. I'm JT. Brandi is out tonight. She's literally living the rent life. Tonight. Nobody asked for that, so I'm going to not give that to you anymore. But she is at a concert, and she may join us a little bit later, so we'll see what happens. I have quite a show for you all tonight. But before we even kind of give an outline of the show, I want to bring in my wonderful, talented, hysterical guest. And some of you may have seen my tweet earlier about it. And well, shoot, I'll just bring her in. This is Kathy from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm so excited I'm literally beside myself. I can't stand it. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm trying to breathe and calm down. Oh my God. I'm praying my dogs don't start barking. They like to bark.
It's okay.
But I'm going to try and be present. I'm going to try and be present and in the moment.
So you guys have an idea of where we're going with this tonight. We have a couple of house cleaning items. We have I'll just tell you now so we can skip it. Kohlberger's trial was set for October 2nd this year. So what that means is that their Kohlberger will be taken care of before Chad Daybell is, which is odd.
Wow.
But yeah, he's not till 2024, like springish time. So
that's crazy.
That's a long time for people to keep their mouth shut. So we'll see what happens. I am not one of those
Something tells
people.
me, listen, everybody is going to have a lot to say. Do you know how much money people made off that trial? Everybody was like, yak, yak, yak. Let me get a Storm t-shirt. Child, everybody's going to be talking about that trial.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And so we're going to be just doing a couple of different things from the Merritt trial. You all probably can guess kind of where that's going to go. There's a couple things from night court that happened, and that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:45, where we do throwback trials. And so there's just a couple things, mostly photos, actually all photos, and just a little bit of a video. And then we're going to really get into talking with Kathy and hit Travis Rudolph trial hard tonight.
I have thoughts, I have feelings, but we'll get into it.
I'm very excited to hear all of them. Nobody wants a Storm t-shirt. I mean, I kind of like my Storm right over my head, so you know.
Listen.
I also don't have shame, so there's that. Carmen says, "Love the mug."
Thank you. We're just brand new. I'm experimenting with merch. So
yes,
this is available on my website, but like I'm still sort of playing with, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know how merch works. I actually looked on you guys' channel. I was looking at the 13th Juror and I saw the stuff and I was like, what vendor is she using? Printify? Okay, let me go on Printify. And then this is my first sample mug. It came on Friday. I'm super excited about it.
I love it. I'm so glad that that's working well for you.
Yeah.
We've had a pretty good experience with them so far. And so that's a great that's a great move right into the next thing. So some of the house cleaning stuff. Well, first off, not necessarily house cleaning stuff, but we kind of want to let everybody know, hey, thanks for being here. There's our top 3. We've got 80s Music Man, Portland Trailblazers. Those 2 are repeat offenders all the time.
I've been trying to get the throne. I feel like people get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and just log on for a 8 p.m. show. It's crazy. I can never get the throne. I'm jealous.
I don't know whether I don't really know how they do that.
I think they're in a different time zone. They must be in a different.
Is that what it is?
I've decided. Listen, based on absolutely nothing. I've done research, and by research I mean I just decided in my own little head that they're in like London, and so it's the middle of the afternoon, the middle of the night, or something like that. And so that's how they do it. Also, I'm gonna make myself my own tiara out of tinfoil or something, and then I'm just gonna be a queen wherever I sit. So I don't really need your throne. So there. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep making your announcements.
You don't need a throne. You don't need it. You got it.
Throne right
for the
here.
mods, I want the mods to know that they can do !gossip, and your YouTube page will flip up in terms of the chat, and so people can click on that link and go straight to you and hit subscribe, because they should. And if you haven't, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
You guys are so sweet to me. Oh my God. I've been obsessed with Brandi forever. Honest to God, I'd stalk her if I had more free time. But child, I got kids. I can't be out here stalking people online. I have other things to take care of. But I'm obsessed with you guys. Like the 13th jurors, I'm like, what are they doing? What are they saying? What do they think? Who are these people? And can we all get together and just read these people for filth, especially Dominique? I'm sorry, I keep interrupting your show. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I told you I was a chatty Cathy. Ooh, we're going to be here till 10 o'clock
be.
at night. Okay, go ahead. Let me.
Well, we're usually here a little later anyway. So
I'm gonna say this after my bedtime. All this beauty does not happen accidentally. I need sleep. But I was like, okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna drink a nice cup of ice water. Okay,
there you
keep
go.
going.
So 80s Music Man, you've got your throne, Portland Trailblazers TV, you've got your not very comfortable lab stool, but I'll give you a pillow just in case. And Terry K, you've got yourself the beanbag chair. I will also throw in a I'll throw in just a plastic cover for you just in case. I don't know who had it before.
Does that stool vibrate? Oh my God. Does that stool vibrate? Like that feels like a punishment. If you can make it a vibrating stool or something,
right
that
here?
would be better. Yeah.
Only if you put 25 cents in.
Okay. If you got a suggestion box, that's a suggestion. Put a little vibrate. Then everybody will want this. Everybody will want to be second. Right. Exactly.
I have no idea why I just did that. Okay. And then in terms of merch, we do have the 13th Juror merch. And our I'll also pop in the exclamation point merch. And we got some new things. The Angry Hoodie. Folks were asking for the Angry Hoodie, and so we have indeed provided the Angry Hoodie. It's just, it was too necessary. So yeah, there's even a kids Angry Hoodie. So if you got that one,
that's hilarious. Oh my God, I think I need an Angry Hoodie. Oh my gosh.
We've tossed in some phone stuff, and there's a lot of stuff coming. We are eventually, I talked about this on Friday, but we're going to pop up for the first couple of streams at night. I actually had Snuggles, a stuffed animal, back here, and people were mentioning it. And I was like, well, Polly, who's kind of doing most of our merch stuff now, she was like, we need a bear. And I was like, we do need a bear. And so that's going to be up soon too. The bear. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff here. You can check it out.
So fancy. You're so fancy. Oh my God. Oh wait, my computer is doing weird things.
We fake it till we make it. That's what we do.
Same, girl. Same.
Of course, you can also follow us on Twitter at 13th Juror Pod. And then Brandi and I also have our stuff too. And the website's always being updated. And we've got our trial daddies and trial mamas, and you can always submit for those, because obviously we
that
like
dog daddy from the Rudolph trial,
right?
I don't even know what he said, but he was right. He was 100% correct. Whatever it was, I agree.
Well, and I'll tell you this, when Miss Lead Detective decided to throw some of those folks under the bus, I was very, very angry. We will get to that. I promise.
I have thoughts and feelings.
You and me both. It's going to be a good night. It's going to be a good night.
Looking forward to it.
All right. So let's real quick. A lot of like Merit and Merit I didn't watch a lot of.
Is that the boy who killed his mama? That's the one who killed his mama, right?
Yeah.
Shirley Merritt's no good son. Listen, I will not commit his name to memory. If you kill your mama, you can't stay in my brain. So as far as I'm concerned, we need to honor his dearly departed mother, Shirley Merritt. And so I refer to him as Shirley Merritt's no good son. So the case of the state of whatever versus Shirley Merritt's no good son. P.S. He killed her while she was making garlic bread. You cannot kill somebody who is making you hot homemade garlic bread. That you should be subject to the death penalty. Can you say that out here? You can't unalive your mama while she's making garlic bread. And spaghetti bolognese, I need the recipe. Can we just honor Shirley and make a recipe book? Shirley's relatives, if y'all out there, can we get the garlic bread recipe? That made me it made me mad. Listen, You can't talk to a fat girl about the garlic bread. I'm sorry. You minute they put garlic bread in that trial, I was like, guilty. Send him down. I can't. I cannot. It was too much for me.
And my favorite was that she went almost full Jody, or he almost went full Jody Arias on this, where he talked about the two people who came in.
Ridiculous.
Came into the house, and his description.
It was too much. It was too much. Listen, I was just grateful that he didn't have his handy dandy minority, because they always trying to throw us in it. I was like, let's hear this. Let's see. Oh, was it a person of color? Was it a short person? Was it somebody in a wheelchair? What underserved community are you gonna throw up in your crime? Keep you and your mama. Now you killed your mama, which was horrible, but don't throw us in it. Don't put us in it. Minorities, we got enough to worry about. And you killed your mama with the garlic bread still on the stove. Sinful. He's going straight to hell with gasoline draws on. There's no two ways about it. I swear to God. I killed that woman with that garlic bread on the stove. I'm sorry. It makes me mad. No,
you're fine. No. So this was his description of the two people who came in. And here we go. We'll just let it rip.
Never. And they were both kind of big. You said one was pudgy. What about the other one?
He was athletic and thin.
Okay. And could you describe what they were wearing?
Yes, I can.
What was that?
The athletic thin one was wearing sort of a black thermal long sleeve top and what looked like Dickie khaki pants. Never.
So he goes on to describe basically the wet bandits is what he decides to.
He was like, I just watched Home Alone and now I know what they look like. Like, it's ridiculous.
That's exactly what it is.
No, my personal favorite is that they came to the house with guns, but they were like, no, we're not going to use these handy dandy guns. Let me just go back in Shirley Merritt's kitchen where she was slicing the garlic bread, and we're going to get her garlic bread knife and use that to kill her. Sir, sit down. Have all the seats. He should have saved it.
There's a lot, and I think somebody might have been watching a couple of streams or heard something on Twitter, because the next day, I think it was the next day, the prosecution decided to pull this number, which was the best.
While he was testifying, was the two bad guys, the bandits from the Home Alone movie.
She said the same thing I said.
And the tall guy. Clearly, he hasn't been watching John Wick for him to come up with that description. And
she watched our streams.
My favorite part about this is that she easily pulls Joe Pesci, but she cannot remember for the life of her the other fella, the tall guy, who she calls the tall guy, right? And Daniel Stern. And yes, I did just Google that because I couldn't remember it. So
I was going to say, does he have a name?
He does.
I love that she just read him for filth right there in court. Like, oh, here's what an idiot he is. This is the flavor idiot that we are dealing with right now. So crazy. It was so crazy. I loved it. And then I was watching you guys and I was hollering. I was like, these people are going to get me fired from my job.
Yep.
The best.
That's my
the best. Oh my God.
Captain says it sounds like he was describing Dexter's night outfit, which is definitely true. It does sound like he was describing Dexter's night outfit. Oh my gosh, can you imagine just like a crossover of the Wet Bandits and Dexter? That would be a better ending.
It's everything
to the
you
Dexters.
need.
It is.
It's everything that you need. Oh my God, so funny.
The other thing that I really liked was, and I didn't get the clip of this, but she literally turned around, stared at him, was like, "We do not believe you." And her direct address was, I didn't have to hear anything else in that trial. And for the most part, we didn't always hear everything, but that direct address was awesome.
She's like, you're an idiot. You know it. I know it. We all know you're an idiot. I loved it so much. Oh my God, I loved it so much.
Oh yeah. Yes, Marvin Harry. Oh my gosh. Harry. Joe Pesci was made for that. Joe Pesci, when he was cast, he was so worried about the whole not cussing thing. So they were like, how can we find a way to get around this? Hence the
listen, that's what you have to do on the YouTubes. You're like, this son of a sucker or whatever. Like, I come up with a million of them off the top of my head because I was like, the last thing I need to do is get kicked off the YouTubes. Oh my God.
Right? Right? Yes, Harry was the tall one. Yeah. It's just so weak, so wild.
Thank you, DSN. That's so sweet. Listen, I'm like, my kids think I'm crazy.
No.
I can't even believe I'm on the YouTubes at all. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to do anything on here. I make a video and I'm like, oh, I messed up. Okay, I have to start all over. 90% of my videos are done in one take because I don't know how to edit them. I finally learned how to put two together if it's two short ones, but I'm still not even good at that.
I tell you what, the first night that we did this, it was me fumbling and the fact that when we started with Valo and everything we did was 10 times harder because it was all audio, you just had to learn very fast.
Yeah.
And we did it so often, it was daily, so it was
You
just
figured
like
it
you just
out.
learn as you go,
Yeah.
and so
yeah.
So the other couple things that we had was really, night court. We're doing Jodi Arias, and boy, oh boy, what a
Wasn't she on
trial.
the stand for like 18 days or something?
Yeah, 18 days, and I think 3 of those days were juror questions because that is a state where jurors can do questions.
Oh, I need to
Yeah.
serve jury duty in one of those things. Wait, do all of the questions have to be relative to the trial? Because I would just be like, oh, girl, where'd you get them shoes from? Like, all the stuff that I think, like, in my head, right? I have a friend, Melissa. She's like, you can have an unexpressed thought. And I'm like, can I? I'm not really sure that I can if you want to know the truth. But I would be sitting there like, what are you having for lunch? Those shoes that you had on yesterday, were they comfortable? Because you was limping in the afternoon and I'm not quite sure. Like, I have questions. None of them are relevant. That what's his name? Captain Comeover in the Rudolph trial. I would have questions about his hair. What level of denial is he in? Why is he such a jerk? Like
Listen, my thing to him is that just because the Hulk hasn't given up that whole look doesn't mean he shouldn't give up that look.
You are not Bret Michaels, sir. You are not Bret Michaels, sir. Or at least Bret Michaels has the common decency to put on a bandana.
Right? Oh man,
they not paying him wig money. They not paying. Listen, first of all, that 30 what was it? The cold case babysitter case that they solved. That dude with the one chiclet tooth with the ferret on his head. I was like, okay, yes. I was like, this man needs a ferret, a bunny rabbit, or something, or just give it up. Give it up. That comb over is the hardest working comb over in court business. This is like.
I would argue it works harder than he does.
Honest to God, harder than anybody else in that district attorney's office because they never should have brought that case. But I'm sorry, I am jumping ahead. We were going to do another case first, but that case makes me mad, and that man's hair makes. Look, I'm embracing the no hair, although I have the ability to grow long hair, just not the willingness because I'm lazy, and I can just roll out of bed with this. It's nice and easy.
I call that efficient. That is efficiency.
Amen.
No, the 2 photos that we have from night court right now are the one that makes me look like I'm actually sitting in the chair accidentally. Brandi said, "Did you do that on purpose?" And I was like, I had no idea until somebody sent it to me.
I thought it was you sitting. You truly are the 13th juror. That's amazing.
Which
oh my God,
just fun is what it is. And then finally, of course, we had all our folks point out the map of the apartment, Travis's apartment, which night court's a lot of fun. We'll just put it that way.
Wow,
night court's a lot of fun.
And if that might need a cream or something, because the top of it is very red and angry. Y'all gonna need a salve to.
It was hanging out with Jodi. So
well, yeah, you probably got a little fire going on with it too,
right?
You're gonna need a shot, a cream, a visit to the free clinic. You're gonna need something.
And then the last thing, which is absolutely just made me laugh, is we decided that we were going to I decided I was going to ask a random question, and that random question was, what does JT stand for? And then everybody wanted to, I said, everybody put the incorrect answers in. and I got some doozies. And so for
I'm dying to know what they are.
for our 13th jurors, I have put together a a smash up of some of these things. Of course, now I'm realizing that I needed the music to go with it, and I'm having a blank. I'm blanking on the music.
I can only think of one thing that goes with JT. Just toes.
Just toes. I like
I
that
don't
one
know.
though.
That's the only thing I can think of. It's just toes. I don't know.
I like it though. I think that's great. Of course, now it's going to want me to log in, and I don't have that kind of time. Just don't have that kind of time. Let's see here. This is professional, isn't it? Oh, here we go. It's all right. So it's logged in. It's the only thing that I did not bring. I brought up everything else to the point where my computer is like, "What are you doing?" All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's bring back and all this for probably nothing. Everybody would be like, "Why'd you even bother?" Where'd it go? Good gravy, everybody. Good gravy. This is what I get.
Now I'm waiting with bated breath.
I know.
What will we see?
That's a good question.
JT, this better not be your private pictures that you made with your wife or nothing like that.
Oh,
only look with one eye
Mrs.
because I still want to
never
see.
let that happen. All right, here we go.
Oh, those are tadpoles. Ah! Jiggly tummy. That was awesome. That was awesome. I think I could be named Jiggly Tummy.
I was looking
one
for
more cookie.
I was looking for a short clip of like dad bod, and I just couldn't figure out anything. I was like, "What jiggles? Jello? We all know Jello jiggles." So, boom.
I got a bunch of jiggly parts. It's fine.
So that's the
that was awesome.
Our night courtness.
Wait, what does it actually stand for?
I'm gonna leave it. It's not John Thomas. I can say that much.
I'm not gonna give John the whole Thomas thing. Slang for like eggplant? I thought that was another euphemism for okay.
John Thomas is also that picture of the guy on the John Thomas slide. That is John Thomas, who is the defense attorney for Lori Vallow. And and so John Thomas came into that just because, of course, it did. Everybody was worried that my name was John Thomas when we started broadcasting that trial.
Oh, that's wild. Okay.
We've got Teresa said Jeremiah Truman. I don't think I can pull off Jeremiah Truman.
That works. Now I'm
a heck of a it's a journalist name is what it is. Justin Todd. Just in case that's not a T, but it works. I'm gonna go sit on the John Thomas.
Yeah, right. But didn't what's her name? Charlotte from Sex and the City refer to her husband's nether regions as his John Thomas? That's what I thought.
I think so. And it is definitely a euphemism for that, which makes it all the funnier. Yes, Frankie. Yes, jerky turkey. That's what it means. Totally. No, that's what my high school librarian used to call me, all the time.
The nerve.
80s. It was you. He called me the John Thomas. You know what? I owned
That's
it enough to put
hilarious.
it in a video. So what are you
There
gonna
you go. There you go.
do?
Oh my God.
My goodness. Well, I want to kind of take a break just a little bit from, I mean, obviously we're still going to have a good time and fun, but I definitely want to ask you kind of a little more about you. One of my
I'm
favorite
my
parts,
favorite subject. I am my favorite thing to talk about. What do you want now?
I think everybody on YouTube, it's our favorite subject. I guess I just kind of want to know, what you're comfortable with sharing, of course, just between you, me, and 200 friends.
I was born a small child in Indiana. No, so I love true crime. My mother was obsessed with true crime when I was a kid, and I thought she was nuts. I was like, why does she care about those people murdering each other? It didn't make sense. And then as I got older, I say all the time, every time I open my mouth, Gwen falls out. My mother's name is Gwen. And so I'm so Gwen that it's painful, but only the good parts. I mean, not that she's a terrible person. She certainly is not. But I don't know. So I just got super into true crime as I got older, but not all true crime. Like if there's certain things I won't cover. If it's a black man being killed by the police, no, thank you. If there are death of small children, no, thank you. Although sometimes there are exceptions, like the whole Lori Vallow thing. But if there's a case that's like interesting and twisty, turny, oh, tell me everything. If there's a Dateline, an episode of Dateline NBC, I am all over it. I will do my own investigation. And by investigation, I mean I will Google 2 or 3 things while I'm on the bus on the way to work, and then I will forget all about it. But then later, I will have total recall of all the facts. And so when the Murdaugh murders, I'm in Target, minding my own business, pushing my little cart, and I see this redhead man and his wife. And it's like, was it murder? Or was it a homicide? Or was it whatever? And I was like, oh, it's not. This is some white on white crime. Let me investigate. So I picked up the magazine and I took it home, and I immediately started Googling, like, who are these people and what's the story and what's going on? And I fell bass backwards into the Murdaugh case 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And then I found Mandy Matney's podcast. And I was just like, Mandy girl, tell me everything. But nobody else was following it that I could find. And I just needed to talk about it. It was like, I just needed to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And so I picked up my phone and I started talking about it. And even before that, like during the pandemic, I was making little videos for my family, because New York locked down before anything else did. And my family was like, we're at Target. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm sitting at my house. And because I have a large family, everybody was calling. I would answer the same call 50 times a day. Like, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. So I started making videos and I called them the Quarantine Diaries. And every day I would put up a video on Facebook just so that I didn't have to tell Auntie Janet and Auntie Mary and like all of the aunties the same thing.
Right.
And then I started telling them funny stories of just like silly things that would happen during my day. And then I started watching Meerkat Manor. That was a whole other thing, because that is like a soap opera made with meerkats. And that one woman who killed her daughter's babies because she was not sure who the baby daddy was, child, was a whole thing. So I may have anthropomorphized some meerkat, and I did a whole thing on Meerkat Manor. I was obsessed all 3 seasons. And then I started watching Court TV.
Man down.
How crazy would it have been if I had been naked? So
none of us wear pants.
I told you this iPad was gonna fall. It's fine. So I did Meerkat Manor, and then I was watching Court TV while I was working, and Janet Hines' nosy daughter-in-law Melissa. Now, I don't know if y'all know about Janet Hines and her nosy daughter-in-law, Melissa, and stop me if you've heard this story. You probably haven't, so I'm going to tell you anyway. So listen, Janet Hines went out to get some drinks with her friends, and she was driving home drunk. But she felt like she was fine. Everybody was going, Janet girl, let me give you a ride. Let me give you a ride. And she was like, I don't need a ride. And so she drove home drunk. And while driving home drunk, she hit a police officer who was in the middle of the street fixing a sign. There was like some sort of sign saying the road is out or whatever. She hit and killed this police officer, but she was drunk, so she didn't know she hit him, so she went on home. The next morning, she calls up her nosy daughter-in-law, Melissa, and was like, Melissa, girl, I had a sign in the road, so you're going to have to pick me up for the baby shower. Melissa's like, okay, but Janet, a police officer got hit near your house. And Janet was like, really? Honey, Melissa didn't even throw on a bra. Melissa jumped up, she ran out the house, she went to her mother-in-law's house, she took videos and pictures with her iPhone, did a complete investigation, solved the crime, and then called her husband and was like, boo, your mama done killed somebody. And so her husband was like, You should go in the house and tell mom. She was like, this ain't my mama. Call your mama. And she hung up the phone. And then she was saying to her husband over text, don't you know I'm probably going to be the first witness they call because I have conducted a complete investigation while not wearing a bra. And so she had sent all these text messages about it. And then they're in court. I'm watching. And there is Melissa Hines with her text message up there saying, I'm not even wearing a bra. Boo, your mama done killed somebody. I mean, that is my interpretation of what she said. So Melissa told the whole story. And then there was her text that said that watch me be the first person that we call. I was like, Melissa is my people. I need to talk to Melissa. I need to talk to everybody in the Hines family. And I need to talk to other true crime fans about what is happening. And then after I cover Melissa Hines, who did I do next? Well, somewhere in there, Murdoch came about. And I was like, I need to talk about Murdoch. And I needed to talk about the state of West Virginia versus Macaulay. And so literally shouting into the void, like, did you see what happened in court today? Those videos got 40 views or something. But one of the people who saw it was the district attorney on that case. And so I get a message on my Facebook after the case was over, like, hey, me and my wife love watching your videos. And I was just like, holy smokes, the district attorney. How much crap did I talk about West Virginia and they summer teeth, summer there and summer not? And I called that man a prosecutee every single day. It was ridiculous. I was embarrassed. And I was like, oh, Lord Jesus, my big old mouth gonna get me in trouble. So I just kept talking about cases after that.
But that,
what was the question?
But when they send you a message, right, and you're like, oh, Lord, oh, boy. What did my mouth do? And then they're like, we love watching your videos. It almost makes you feel like you have like just complete run of whatever you want to say, right?
Right. But it also made me think because I just talk. There's no like editing that's happening. I just talk. And so I look up and I'm like, half the time people will quote me back to me and I'm like, that's hilarious. Who said that? They're like, you said that in your video 2 seconds ago. Because I'm doing more talking than listening. Because my mouth works real good. Either. My ears, not so much. So I was like, I should probably edit. I need to say less. Maybe I can have an unexpressed thought. Turns out, no, I'm not. That's not my ministry. I'm just not good at that. And I have offended some people. If I knew how to edit, I would take away some of the things I said a couple of weeks about Jehovah's Witnesses. Although I was not trying to be rude. I just said, I don't want nobody knocking on my door. We were talking about Travis Rudolph, and I was like, I don't want nobody knocking on my door. I don't care if it's noon. If you don't text me, don't knock on my door. And I said one time, your homies witnesses, which apparently you're not supposed to call them that because that is rude. Apologies, Jehovah's Witnesses. I will stop calling you your homies witnesses, even though I think that's hilarious. But I understand if you don't. So with all due respect, I will back up off your religion. But I said they came to my door one day with Arise magazine and I needed them to arise off my front porch. And then somebody was around, well, we don't even use Arise anymore. And I was like, when they came to my house, they had the Arise. And I was like, my 911 hand is strong. I'm like, 911, I'm a hover over sin. Now what you got? Why are you on my porch? And I live in a good neighborhood. Imagine if I lived in the hood. I would just start shooting. Shit.
You got all excited.
I told you my setup was janky. Didn't I tell you my setup was janky? I'm gonna need a rubber band. Where'd that binder clip go? I got some yarn I spun. Wait a minute. Look. And when the apocalypse comes, you want me around because I'm about to make this thing work. You keep talking, JT. I'm about to tie this iPad.
You tie that up. I think you've given everybody kind of a little bit of a complex about leaving without a bra on in the morning now.
I saw that. Listen, you can leave without a bra. Just don't tell people you leaving without a bra. Just keep your foundation garment. Keep one in your car. You don't got a spare bra in your car? Ladies,
I don't.
Right?
Oh man. Well, so that kind of gives us a little bit of it gives us a little bit about gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and how you came up with the name.
Well, the name came from Jim Griffin, actually, because okay, I have used some homespun yarn to tie my iPad to the stand. We'll see if this works. I also do crafts. I spin yarn. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so I was listening to the Mandy Madney podcast, Murdoch Murders, and Jim Griffin, or that fat annoying dude who looks like Porky Pig, can't remember his name, was like, "We are tired of the gossip and the rumor and the innuendo," and I was thinking, well, that is my favorite part. Well, how y'all tired of it? That is why I tune into this trial every week, for the gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo. And so I once joked that, like, if I ever had like a blog or something, I would name it Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, because that's the best part of the trial. Like, yeah, you need DNA and whatever. I want to know who was sleeping with who. I want to know what the evidence was. What's in your text messages? Did your nudes leak? I want to know all of that part of it. Them facts and stuff, that's fine too, if you have to have them.
I don't want nothing to know about no nudes from no Murdoch. No
Yeah.
thanks.
I just feel like they would have grease on them. It would just be like a pile of melted Crisco, and that would be him naked.
It's
Is
just
that
like a
rude to
thumb
say?
smudge on the camera.
Exactly. Some chaw. He got like his slick hand. He's disgusting. And all that public snotting, they should have sent him to jail for that alone. It was ridiculous.
So we are obviously going to talk about some of the WTF stuff from Travis Rudolph's trial. But what are your, and it might cover the rest of the questions, but what are your initial impressions with this trial?
So here's the thing. I'm watching it with you guys, right? And so when it first started, I was 100% giving the bad guys, who we now know to be the bad guy, Tyler and all of the child, I can't have trouble myself with folks' names. But I gave them all the benefit of the doubt, because I have 4 black sons, and I was looking at them and I was like, that could be my babies. Look at that nice looking young man. Oh, he's going to school, whatever. When everyone's like, he's lying. And I was like, I will hear him out. I will hear his whole story. His story made sense to me until, like, as the prosecution was asking him questions, I was like, okay, that's reasonable. Sure, he left his gun at home. He probably left his gun at home. I'm sure that he did. And then when the guy got up there to cross-examine him, I was like, hey, this is not holding up that good. And as we went along, I was like, okay, dudes, I'm gonna keep giving you the benefit of the doubt. Also, my dad was a cop. And so I give cops a lot more slack than a lot of other people would. And where some people are like, it's the police, F the police, down with the government, whatever. I'm like, the government paid my streets out here. They fine with me. Not on everything, but like, okay, I don't have any just like natural beef with the government, or natural beef with police. These police though, in West Palm, oh, they're trash. They are absolute trash. And I don't even necessarily like this defense attorney. I'm usually not, like, I want everybody to have a good and vigorous defense. This defense attorney annoys me. The lady is fine. The man just annoys me to no end. And also, I believe he's from Brooklyn. That sounds like a Brooklyn accent to me. No beef with Brooklyn. But everything about him just reminds me of Brooklyn, and everything about him is annoying to me. But now I'm up here cheering him on. But my initial thought was like, oh, everybody's being too hard on these kids. It was a misunderstanding. I'm sure that everybody's reading it wrong. And I honestly thought that Travis had the right to pull a gun, but not the right to fire 39 shots. Now I admire his restraints. Now I wish he had fired more. But in the beginning, I was like, oh, well, he'll do like a piece of time.
Yeah, I think this is one of the few trials where I really haven't been around too much in terms of watching day by day trials. 4 or 5 years in true crime with podcasting, but not like this. And this is one of the few times where I'm just like, all right, defense, yeah, everything you're saying,
listen,
okay.
If they don't set Travis free, I'm gonna march on whatever they have down there. I'm gonna go. I might not march, because it's hot in Florida this time of year. But I'm gonna be real mad, and I'm gonna talk a lot about it. I'm gonna talk real slick right here on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, and so I kind of speaking of Mark and Heidi and kind of how they handled some of their stuff. I know you said some of the ways that he does things you're not a huge fan of. Do you think they handled these witnesses well, or do you think they were too argumentative or sassy, or did they have to be? What do you think about that?
I felt like Mark kept getting his buttons pushed. Like these kids were annoying, super, super annoying, and they were wrong, and they lied every time they opened their mouths. Personally, what I would have preferred to have him do was just rise above, because their lies are relevant. Like were what's the word? They were obvious, right? My whole thing is like the truth don't need your help. You don't have to put some little sauce on the truth and spin it and whatever. The truth don't need your help. So just go on out there and tell the truth. And he had good questions, but the fact that they would get in a back and forth with these kids, I feel like those kids, they're not kids, but they're young enough to be my children, brought Mark down to their level. So if they want to sit up there and make questions harder and add to it and whatever, he fell right into that trap. I think he was trying to bait them and they baited him, which was a bad look for him.
Yeah, I think he saw some of his wins with how he was doing things, and then maybe he just kept doing it. But when you're at that one note, like you think about a movie, right? And you have an actor who goes angry, you can't go anywhere after angry, right? So you're just got that one note. And so you kind of have to, you have to play a little more sophisticated in terms of emotions than the witnesses are. And the witnesses were just pissy.
Yeah, they didn't want to be there. Like all I saw in every single one of those witnesses was a consciousness of guilt. Everybody who was there on that day, Dominique, in my opinion, did not feel guilty enough, although she did give lip service to it when she said, I didn't want this. Girl, you wanted this. You wanted him all shot up. What you didn't want was for your friend to get killed, your brother. But when you order up Ish, you can't be sorry when Ish gets delivered. And they didn't expect Travis to deliver the Ish that he delivered, but he sure 39 times he delivered it. Filled those kids with lead.
Right. Yeah. So I kind of wanted to talk just a little bit about, law enforcement, legal system, media, and how they just handle cases or trials like this, because there just always seems to be, it just seems like they handle cases different.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Black on black, white on white, black on white, but vice versa. So I'm just wondering kind of what you think about that and kind of what you see in terms of themes and how we can kind of push forward and also mature in terms of how we do these things.
I mean, my whole thing is that I know what I think about lots and lots of things, right? And I like to hear people who echo back the same thing that I think and feel. But I think it's also really instructive to not silo myself into one point of view and to hear the other side. Like when it comes to politics or religion or, is keto better than paleo? Like whatever it is, I want to hear both sides, and not so that I can create an argument in my head, but I want to listen to understand. So when I was listening to Keyshawn, whatever his name was, I was like, okay, that might be a true story. And it sounded like a true story when there was nothing to push back up against it. And so when the defense attorney came in and started pushing against his story, I was like, oh, hold the phone. And then when Black Cowboy Jesus got up there on Friday, I was like, oh my Lord. He's a beautiful cowboy. Like to me, I was like, okay, he's just some regular looking dude. But then I saw that picture of him in the cowboy hat, and I was like, he's a cowboy. And also, my grandmother for my entire childhood had a picture of Black Jesus in her living room, and DJ looked like Black Jesus. And I was like, Black Jesus cowboy, then got up here and preached the whole sermon. He was moving. He wasn't trying to tell a lie. He just was honest and sincere. And he has chickens and pigs. Those are good. He's good chicken folk. You can't be mad at people who own chickens. Chicken is delicious. They give you eggs. He has a pig and a dog. He's an animal person. I bet you none of those other suckers had chickens. Send them to jail. Send them to jail. On the strength of the chickens alone, they need to go to prison. I'm just saying.
He was very good. He was fantastic on the stand. He didn't let his, pun intended, feathers get ruffled. And not only that, and I said this on Friday night during night court, but something that he did that I as a public speaking professor in a past life appreciated was his ability, whether he knew it or not, to pick the perfect and opportune moments to look right at the jury and address them. And
absolutely,
it just did such a great job for having them forget what Captain Comover's arguments
Mm-hmm.
were and focused
Mm-hmm.
directly on him. And I was just really impressed with that.
He seemed sweet and sincere. And even Dominique said he wasn't trying to bother anybody. He wasn't trying to be in any mess. He just stayed in his room and he wrote his little songs. I wonder if he wrote songs to chickens. That's what I want to know. He might have a whole new version of Old MacDonald or something. Young McFarmer. I don't know how that's going to go. But I really, really liked him. And everything about him seemed like down to earth and honest and sincere. And everything about those shooters seemed slick. They didn't seem slick when I was just looking at them in isolation. But in comparison to him, like this, to me, this dude is the salt of the earth. All he wanted to do was help his mom and raise his little animals and drive his rideshare job and not be bothered with any of this mess. And they brought this mess to his door in the middle of the night. It was ridiculous. And when he kept saying, he was a well-prepped witness, when he kept saying, I thought I was going to die today. Today was the day I was going to die. My whole heart, I was like, they need to charge all of these people and send them to jail, Dominique being number one, but all those other idiots too.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And of course that all spurs from the failure of, you can't even call it an investigation. I mean, it's basically just like it's a half an hour interview on like 2020 is what what was done.
Not
with
even
with commercials.
Not even. She went and she was like, what's your side of the story? That's what happened. Okay, I'm going to take your side of the story and I'm going to assume that this is all the truth and we're going to go from there. I also feel like because the other side lawyered up, like, you have a right to a lawyer and all of that. I feel like the police held that against them. Like, oh, you don't want to come and talk to us? Great.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, that family didn't trust the police. Many families don't trust the police, regardless of their background, regardless of their experience. If you have two eyes and the ability to watch the news, like there's good, ample reason not to trust the police. And so they had a distrust. And instead of trying to make these people feel more comfortable, they took the crazy woman's word for it, slap cuffs on Travis. P.S. That's one of my kids' names. So I was just like, Travis, oh my God. So I just, this investigation, I do more investigation looking for a shoe in this house than that woman did looking for a murderer. It was out of control, ridiculous. I was so mad.
So like in the back of my head, the entire time that we're hearing this amount, 17 minutes, right?
Right.
All I can think of was did she really think that this was just going to be an easy open and shut? No, like people weren't going to care because, and that's where I get the most frustrated is the treatment of this, thinking that people don't, people aren't going to really care about this. They're going to just think that somebody's guilty. They're going to put them away. It'll be the end of it. I don't need to do too much work. She obviously didn't look for evidence because she didn't hear about it. So, that's the most frustrating to me. And it just makes me wonder just how often this actually does happen
Frequently. Frequently.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole thing was like, did she think she was just gonna skate through this? Did she win this job like in a lottery? Did she get the lucky gumball or something it makes no sense to me, her investigation. And were there people behind her saying, yeah, you did a great job, that you did enough, that's all fine? That's inconceivable to me. And even if she did a bad job, right? Because she's the one in charge of investigating this, the prosecutor is the one who has to take this court to case. The prosecutor doesn't even seem to have their heart in it, aside from Captain Comover. They're just like, yeah, well, we're going to ask these questions like a kindergarten teacher and then sit down. It's ridiculous.
Yep. No, absolutely. And you know what? This is true. Carmen writes that PBC brags about their conviction rates. I saw a news release about this, or a press release that they put out about this. And I'm telling you what, I bet you their conviction rates are great if every single investigation 17 minutes long. And not only that, but I bet you they're great if they just don't care as much as, it's just like, it blows my mind. I would love to have the Innocence Project to go down there specifically and investigate a good chunk of what they've convicted and see if it's actually true.
Absolutely. On, what is it? I think it's on Succession. They used to talk about NRPI, something, no real people involved. They're like, oh, well, this didn't touch my personal family or my personal relatives, or this didn't happen on my block, has nothing to do with me. Seems close enough for government work. Put them in jail and that's that. that they're trying to ruin people's lives. And thank God that Travis and his family were like, no, 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 we're not going out like that.
And according to Alyssa, they have a conviction rate of 94%. I'm going to tell you right now that
Oh my God.
listen, on a test, 94% is great. But when you're talking conviction rate of 94%, you're not doing investigations.
Yeah.
There's no, I don't think a conviction rate should be that high personally on my end anyways. But it just makes me wonder. And then of course, Jennifer wrote, she got Detective of the Year 8 days before Friday. She got
I
Detective
saw
of
that.
the Year.
She actually did not win. She did not win. Her and her team were nominated for Detective of the Year. May 25th, the ceremony took place. Yep, they were nominated. They did not win. Because I was looking that up on Friday and I was like, I'm gonna break everything in here if this biatch is Detective, but there is no way in the world.
What I really hope that she was on the winner piece of paper, and then this trial happened, and they were like, "Let's just wipe that out."
I was like, "How did anybody on this squad get Detective of Investigators of the Year?" I can't even imagine that there were other choices if they were among the top ones. It's crazy to me. And how many innocent people are getting railroaded if these are the investigations that you're doing? Come on, y'all. It's ridiculous.
And let's see. So this question's from Shireen, one of our mods. So there have hardly been any objections on either side, right? Hardly any. Do you think that there should be? Is it strategic? What do you think?
Oh, well, you know what? I think they said that in the Murdoch case as well, that there were not a ton of objections. Listen, I think that you should. I'm in my house like objection, objection, objection. Some of it, I think, is the gamesmanship, right? Like, I think it's sort of understood that, like in Murdoch, they were saying, "Oh, that's just not how we do. We're just not big objectors down here." I don't think they run across that up here where I live because folks have things to say and they are not shy to say them. I don't think you should just object for sport, but I think if you feel like the other side is doing something wrong, stand up and protect the constitutional rights of your clients. Like that's what they're supposed to be there doing, not some show trial. Like we choose that guy as the guilty one and now trot him off to jail. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And there's with this trial specifically, it feels like a lot of this is strategic. Like they don't want to, they won't object because the other side is basically just making their case for them, right? And so it's like, why would you stop it? Why would you stop that from happening?
This is true. If you watch the videos on this, like other commentators talking about it, it's been really interesting because I was like, I know how I feel about this. It'll be interesting to see how other people feel about it. And it seems like I haven't seen anybody who's pro prosecution on this case. Everyone is sort of like free Travis Rudolph. But a lot of people who I've heard talk about it seem to think that he will be wrongly convicted, which I was really surprised at. I don't think he'll be convicted at all. I think it'll take them some time to work through the verdict because there's like a lot of charges or whatever, but I don't think he'll be convicted.
Yeah, I think that says more about their opinion on the jury and not so much on the case in chief.
True.
From either side. And I mean, I guess you really do have to think about that. I don't know the specific makeup of this jury. And so I'm interested to see. It's like, I don't really know how much I trust, them to but it is just so this trial has seemed so blatantly one-sided. Right?
Oh my God.
It would be really hard for me to think that it could go the way of the prosecution. And if it did, I'd really want to know. I'd want to know why.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those ones where there will be like rioting in the streets. Now, I don't want there to be rioting in the streets, but like I think people will lose their ever-loving minds if this goes the wrong way. I don't think it'll be on the scale of like some of like where people are literally like turning over cars and setting things on fire. But because it's been on Law and Crime and there's been a lot of people talking about it, mostly sports people. Thank God he was like a sports ball, whatever, because I don't know nothing about those sports. But I thought they only played ice hockey and soccer in Canada. I didn't know they had a football league.
Oh yeah,
but somebody told me
that. Yeah.
Is that like real football or is it like football that they call something else?
No, it's football. In fact, Canada had football before we had football, and so
really?
Yeah, one of my co-hosts is from British Columbia, and so I follow that league, and it's a lot faster. It's played a lot faster. There's only 3 downs per roll before you have to punt it. It's just
Oh,
it's
wow.
interesting. I love CFL. It's really cool. I don't dislike NFL. I like CFL. They move and shake a lot faster, and it's cool. But you bring up a good point with him being that football player, right? He's got kind of that celeb sports athlete status.
Mm-hmm.
And what concerns me is how many people this has happened to who don't, that we haven't paid attention to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Had he not, and he only spent like 1 year playing professional sports or whatever. Had he not had that, nobody would have heard about this case. Hopefully the jury would have still done the right thing, but who the heck even knows? But at a 94% conviction rate, like, I'm nervous for the people of West Palm. I have family that lived there for years and years. They've since moved back to Indiana, but I had relatives that lived there for a really long time.
Yeah, and somebody did bring up in the chat, and I will definitely, I obviously want to make sure that I mention this, is that they might just be, in terms of the conviction rate, they might be very good at picking cases that they know will win. Therefore,
True.
high conviction rate. So I will give them that if they're very good at that. However, if they're as good at that as they are at trying this case, not convinced.
This case is not an example. This case is not an example of their investigation and prosecution acumen, because they are a mess. But honestly, this is one of those ones where at a certain point, it's just painful, right? Like that terrible prosecutor, Emily Vanderland, whatever her name was, she was wildly incompetent. I said on one of my videos about her, I was like, this could not possibly be her full-time job. There's no way in the world this is her full-time job. She looks like a kindergarten teacher. I think she might sell Mary Kay, a Tupperware, or something else on the side. She could not be investigated. But you know what? If she sold Tupperware, she would have to find them lids. And so she would know how to do investigation. So she's not even Tupperware affiliated. She has no idea what she's doing. This woman is a mess. And Dominique has forever ruined her ability to dig gold, at least in the NFL. She might have to go to like soccer or another country or someplace else, because if you Google her name at all, her and her baby daddies and her maybe baby daddies and her ex-husband, and it's not her place to talk about and whatever else, nobody's going to want to touch that big old Brazilian booty.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
That BBL coming through was I think it was much needed in terms of a break of tension, huh?
Oh my God. Did you see it though? When she bounced down, she sprung right back up. I was like, I might need to get me a Brazilian booty. What? Mine is just wide and flat. Like, okay, girl. It's like she had a spring on the back of her, like, boing. She just bounced right back up. But,
well, let's you know what? Let's get into this. Let's get into the WTF. And unless before we do that, is there anything else you want to like add that we might not touch on here?
No, I'm good.
No, okay. And you're obviously, in terms of like back and forth, you're welcome anytime you want to hop on. We would love to have you, and you're not going anywhere. Obviously, folks, guy's not going anywhere. We're gonna get into the WTF, so this is gonna get spicy, because of course it is.
Okay, I'm ready. Indianapolis. I saw somebody ask where I'm from in Indiana. Indianapolis.
You know what? I went to Indianapolis for what they call Gen Con. Whether people either know it or don't know, it's a nerd thing.
What is Gen Con? Okay.
It's like, yeah, because I am one, and Indianapolis was beautiful. It's gorgeous, that city.
My whole family is there. I mean, I have family sort of all over, but a lot in Indianapolis, and then a lot in Asia. Don't even ask. But Indianapolis, and then I went to college in Terre Haute, Indiana.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Did somebody ask? Did Travis pay for her surgery? I don't know.
She said no, because she said he was broke. But listen, something tells me she got one of them discount BBLs. You know what I mean? Like, you go to Mexico and they put some rubber bands and cement and whatever else they got laying around. They just look out in the parking lot. We got an old tire, bring it on in. We about to do her booty. Like,
So I wouldn't normally put this up, but you kind of hit the nail on the head there, John. Dominique's gonna need another because she lied her butt off on the stand.
100%. 100%.
Oh. All right.
Lying sack of sugar. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. No, you're fine. I've got like 2 or 3 things, but if there's something, I know we didn't catch everything because good grief, there were so many things. But if there's something that stuck out to you that we don't hit on, definitely bring it up.
Okay, cool.
But here's the first one. Here is the first one.
Answer the question, please.
I'm confused.
Okay, well, let's try to unconfuse you.
Let's start over. Because
Hold on. All right, go ahead. Remember,
What's the name?
you remember telling the jury yesterday when the state was asking you questions about DJ's text? You guys texting back and forth?
okay, that's what you're talking about. Yes.
And then you told this jury that the first time you heard about all of this and that there were more people that went there besides Keyshawn was when you were talking and communicating with DJ.
But prior to this, you have to remember me, Keyshawn, and Tyler were in a group chat. Remember, you said that out of your own mouth.
You also just testified that there was a FaceTime. You told Detective Ema details about your brothers going there. Don't you remember you just testified about that?
She's chronologically way out of order.
All right,
She's just like chatting right now.
start over again.
You are. Like, I don't even
All right,
understand where
stop,
you're
Miss Jones. All right, next question. Start over again so we can get this cleared up and move on.
Your Honor, though.
Oh my God.
Can I say something?
No, stop. Go ahead.
She's like, Your Honor, I memorized my lies in order. And so when she asks me the questions out of order, it scrambles my very small brain, even though I am a knowledgeable child. Can you imagine? Where does she store the audacity? She must be stored it in her new booty. She got the room back there, because what in the world?
I don't know. It's just, and you bring up a very good point, right? Is that typically folks that lie can't remember those lies that they've practiced out of order. And when they were asking people things out of order, all of a sudden it was, I don't understand, or I'm not sure what you're saying, or that's not how it happened. You know what I mean? So, and I love the fact
there was
that
another witness who did that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm talking over.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm trying to think of the other witness. Was that Tyler? Trey? What was his name?
I was one of the last guy that testified. I think Chris Lowe also said, "Oh, you're going out of order," and I was like, "Why are they so obsessed with chronology?" And the judge was like, "They don't have to ask you questions in order." But you know, they all got probably not on group chat. They probably all were like, "Come to the house on Friday night for our pizza party so we can rehearse our lies in order." And they had the notes and crib sheets and everything else, and they rehearsed their lies in order. And now that it's out of order, they're upset because they're not going to be able to lie the same way they would have or could have. It's ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, a lot of criticisms come for this judge in terms of being so quiet during this trial and not like really kind of commanding the court.
He busy working his other job.
But the thing that I do like is that him not doing that, but then all of a sudden reaching out and saying something really packs a punch. Do you know what I mean?
It's like he wakes up periodically.
And this is an example of that right here.
Oh God.
The story is him putting his hands on me. That is really the basis of everything. And I didn't send my brothers to kill him.
You just sent a text to go shoot up his shit, right?
I didn't say shoot him.
You sent a text to go shoot up his shit, right?
Correct.
Tell the jury what the shit is.
When you're angry, you say things. I'm sure everyone in this courtroom has said something when I'm trying to speak. If you want me to answer your question, you have to let me answer your question.
Well, if you were responsive to my question, I wouldn't have.
All right, answer the question, please.
Okay. Can you repeat your question?
Question was shit. What does shit mean in the context of that text?
Anything but him.
Okay.
All those.
That's the best question ever asked in court. The judge like wakes up. He's like, I'm over here trying to process these warrants. The question is, what does shit mean? Okay, Your Honor. Thanks. That's crazy.
It's just, man, I just don't know how to explain her overall. I know there were other things that I could not pull and I can't think about right now.
Yeah.
What else
do
you remember? Do you remember?
I felt like, I don't remember them specifically. I just remember feeling like it was nonstop. She wanted to control the situation. She is like one of these arrogant people who's used to running the show, and people doers. She feels like people should do what they say, or maybe they do what she says in her life. I have no idea. But the way she conducted herself was absolutely, if that was my child, I would be mortified. Like, child, you were not raised at all. No manners, no common sense, no common decency. I did appreciate, though, when she said, I'm sorry all this happened. I wish this hadn't happened to Tyler getting shot and Sebastian getting killed. And I didn't even want to be in this situation. I didn't want this to happen to DJ and Travis. But ultimately, girl, you set these wheels in motion. Why wasn't she charged? Even she was afraid she was going to get charged. She was Googling. What was she Googling? Accessory after the fact or accessory to murder or something like that. Girl, you know you did this. This is crazy to me.
There was a lot of research. What I find just mind-blowing is that she expected the jury to believe that shit in this case was everything but him.
No.
I'm sorry. Do you and your friend that you texted have a definition of what shit is? Like,
right. Let's look in the Dominique library dictionary to see, what does shit mean in this context as opposed to that context? Like, that's craziness. But now this is all like revisionist history, right? Because she's like, when I said shoot him up, did you mean with the super soaker? If it was that, you didn't really mean it that seriously, how come he couldn't just call him and talk on the phone at noon instead of midnight? Like, what are you doing, lady? Your story doesn't even make sense. It's crazy to me.
A few people have said the best part when she said married wasn't her business.
Oh my God. I loved it so much. I was like, exactly whose business would it be? And she was like, I thought separation was a thing. Like, you're either married or you're separated or you're divorced, ma'am. That's not how that works. You're married or you're not married. The in between, you're still one of those, either married or not married. What is? Oh, I thought this was a dog. It was my wayward string. Wait.
Carry on my wayward string.
I'm going to take a picture of how my iPad is tied to my stand because it looks a mess. I'm going to put it, I'll put it in the community tab because it is crazy. But you notice my iPad stopped falling. It's like all wrapped around.
It's working though.
Listen, whatever works. Good. Whatever works. Babe, can you refill my husband disappeared. I thought he was Shalom. Can you give me something to drink, please? Okay. Can you give me some water, please?
Brandi did keep saying, you had a whole husband at
right?
the time.
A whole ass husband that you forgot? How you forget your husband? Listen, you might forget your driver's license at home. You might have forget you used to have a pet when you were a child. So you had a wedding. You had a whole marriage. You lived with the man.
And I bet you it was very high maintenance
wedding. Maybe that's who paid for her booty.
I don't know.
That's probably who paid for her
booty. People high maintenance, but
she's very high maintenance. And where are her kids at? I want to know where her kids are. There's at least one, maybe two kids, because I saw two paternity lawsuits when I looked up her court cases. 5 evictions, 2 paternity cases. Is that Brandi?
It is.
Hey, Brandi girl.
That tells me she might be showing up pretty soon. So
yay! I'm so excited to be on with the famous Brandi Churchwell, who I always call Brandi Chartwell because of her beautiful charts. But the fact that this lady forgot her husband, that happened on 90 Day Fiance once. The girl was like, I forgot I was married. Like, girl, you not that bright. Thank you, babe.
And
ridiculous.
So, I think overall, there you go, Frankie. How are you gonna be mad at Travis for seeing other women when you haven't seen each other for 6 weeks and you're married? That makes no sense.
It's crazy. The whole like, we were gonna get married and we were engaged or we talked about marriage. And when somebody said, was he gonna take you to Canada? She's like, he never said he wasn't gonna take me to Canada. Girl, you have not talked to him in 30 days. She was like, this is my meal ticket. I don't have to sell any of these houses. I'm going to go live up in Toronto or wherever the CFL is, and that's going to be that.
I say this, having bought, a house or two, I would not buy a house from her if her attitude is like that.
Can you imagine? She probably thinks real estate is just showing up and being pretty and pointing at a house and then collecting your check, bro. It is more than that.
Oh yeah. And so what I'd like to do right now is make like Lori Vallow did to Satan. And Lori Vallow rolled Satan up in a taco. And Lori
And
Vallow
threw him to
sent Satan out.
Antarctica.
And so here we are, everybody. We're
Oh my
sending
God.
Dominique. Thanks, Polly. We're sending Dominique in a taco. And we're sending her into Antarctica.
That's hilarious. Full eye roll. Full eye roll. That's so funny. Oh my God. I am living for these graphics.
This one's courtesy, I believe, of Polly, who's one of our mods. Wonderful. We love her very much.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
And then, of course, it didn't stop. Like, usually you expect, like, one rough witness, right?
Right.
And
right.
it didn't stop with Dominique. It didn't. It just didn't. It kept going. And Tyler Robinson was next. And I'm at work, and I'm really glad that I work with therapy dogs because I needed it a lot during this. And so we got a little bit of. Oh wait a second.
As well they should.
You see,
they should.
I said we rolled her up in a taco and center. And boy, did we ever! She been.
I'm telling you, she can't sell a house. She's not gonna be able to dig any more gold. She's not gonna be able to do any. She's gonna have to go down to like the little league to try and pick somebody up because the major leagues are not having any part of her.
Right? Yeah. This is one combo I'm not ordering from Taco Bell. That is for
at
sure.
all. They probably pay you money to take that when you only have to pay for it. They're like, please take this off our hands, please. And thank you.
She liked their PlayStation 5 giveaway. Go.
Oh my God.
Well, Tyler Tyler was interesting. Heather, I was the same. He was frustrated. He caused anxiety. I told everybody on Friday, I literally had to throw in a bite guard. Because that's how stressed and anxious this trial has made me. And I shouldn't let it impact me, right? It's not about me. This ain't like I'm not. It shouldn't. But I'm like so empathetic.
So frustrating.
I'm that kid that gets embarrassed when the kid next to me gets like in trouble, right? And so having this happen, it was just like infuriating for me. But so Tyler's first thing. I think we all remember this bit, but I'm going to play it anyways.
Page 121, line 5 to 9 of your deposition.
Could you read it to me, sir?
You don't have a copy of it?
I would prefer if you read it to me.
Page 120. You can read, okay? You're a college grad.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm here to answer questions based off of my deposition. So if you have a direct question, I can answer that if you'd like to ask it. I'm not here to read.
Well, page 1.
The nerve, the unmitigated gall. Does he think he's helping his friend? Like, what are they trying to do? I mean, you can tell they don't care, right? They're like, my friend is dead. No matter what I say here, it's not bringing my friend back. They have 0 F's to give, straight out, not one to spare. It is crazy to me. Their whole attitude was just like, we don't care about this case.
Well, and I think there's a piece of me that also believes that it's just like, well, we don't care about him still. And if we weren't able to get him then, we're going to get him now. And so we're not going to help. And what's funny is that they ended up helping with their behavior. So...
You know what's funny, though? His attitude didn't bother me. I was seeing everybody in chat being like, oh, my God. I just was like, okay. Go on and make Travis's case. Because I felt like Chris, Tyler, Dominique, Keyshawn, all of them made Travis's case. I was like, oh, they want Travis to come home. Maybe they want to try and go after him another way. But I think these dudes were fake gangsters. They're over there pretending to be gangsters, trying to be Billy Badass. Because they pulled their guns. I don't even know if the guns were loaded. They didn't pull a trigger. They just like, and then didn't know how to react in the face of like all that crazy and tragedy, driving all around or whatever, trying to find Hackshaw. And what was Hackshaw's part?
Yeah, they They got a lot of photos online of them looking bad. You know what I mean?
Really? Those dudes who were like on social media with all their guns and all that other.
There's like a
Okay.
picture. There's like a picture of them, and this infuriated me. But there's a picture of them. One's holding a big, not this part, but one's holding a big bag of like marijuana. Which I mean, you do you. I have
Yeah,
no
yeah,
problems
yeah.
with that. You know.
Mhm.
And then somebody else has a gun, and then there's another person who's like holding a laptop with like an infant like puppy on it. And hold on, I'll bring it up. Because honestly, it's beyond belief. It truly is beyond belief. And I was so frustrated because number one, that dog's way too young to be anywhere else but with his mom. And number two, what? Why would you do that to a dog? All right, here
Everything
we go.
about these people is trash.
Here you go. There you go. I can't make it any bigger, but
Yeah, no, I see it. But
so
what do
like
they think?
that little puppy.
I
I
do
don't know.
not understand. I do not. It's like they want to be gangsters. Like, oh yeah, I'm a gangster. I have the chains. I have the whatever. I have this puppy. But it's like, okay, but you're in medical school and you're in college. Like, decide what you're gonna be. Not Tyler.
Yeah.
Keyshawn was like, what do you call it? Like an amateur gun dealer. Like what? What are you? You're a medical student, aka also an amateur gun dealer, and you go to honors college. And then when they were like, well, what were you doing there? Oh, I was just doing my homework. I was home. Boo boo, you should have stayed home doing homework instead of rolling up on Travis's house trying to act like you were Billy Badass. That's why your friend got shot up. It's ridiculous.
It's really unfortunate. And first I want to say thanks for the super chat. She said, OMG, it's GRI. She's everything that's been missing from my true crime family. She completes me. She and my RA Squeezy, Kama Lava.
Thank you. Oh my God, you guys are so sweet.
The counter argument to a lot of this is that I've heard online is the concept of, well, you know, some people show themselves to be on social media how they aren't in real life. And to some degree I understand that, but also they ran up on Travis's house with guns.
I was
going to
gonna say,
up. And so
right.
I
They didn't
kind of
post a bunch of pictures of like, oh, this is what we would do or whatever. I mean, they could have doxed him. There's all kinds of things they could have done, which would have been equally horrible, but would have left their friend alive. But this way, they ruined a whole bunch of people's lives, including their parents. Like one of their best friends got murdered behind this foolishness. Keyshawn and Dominique's mom is being sued. Like all of these people are getting sued. Sebastian's mother their best friend's mom is suing them. That doesn't sound like a happy Thanksgiving, a happy Friendsgiving, a happy whatever among that group of people anymore. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and like I said, I wouldn't show that picture because, of course, people, like I said, they display themselves in front of people on stage
Right.
differently than they are
Right.
backstage. However, some of the actions backstage back up the social media on the front of the stage.
Yep.
And so I think you
Yep.
know, you kind of have to take everything together with context. And speaking of some of this, Tyler doesn't read, but Tyler does research. And boy, oh boy, do we find out about this.
If you want to see it, I'll show it to you. You received a text message at 10:15. Go shoot his shit up, and then you want to see it?
No, sir, I don't. I want to go home, but you just are so insistent.
Do you want to answer the questions or not?
I'm here legally because I'm obligated to be. Whether or not I want to answer these questions isn't of importance.
All right, so 10:15, you get a call from Dominique, right? That's before you did the research on your web browser to find out about Travis Rudolph, correct? Because that was done at exactly 22:56. That's 10:55, probably 50 minutes later. Why are you looking up Travis 50 minutes later?
I don't know.
And then you look up specifically his injury. You're trying to find out if he has a torn ACL, if it's still injured, if he's able to fight or run away, right? You're trying to size him up before you get there. Right?
Are you telling me, sir, or are you asking me?
I'm telling you and asking you. Isn't it right? Isn't it true you did that?
First, what are you telling me? And then secondly,
You're
what
sizing him up before the fight. You're looking, I'm checking out the guy I'm about to go talk to or whack, one or the other. And you're sizing him up before you get there. Isn't that true, sir? Do you want to?
Dude,
It blows
that
my mind.
I do not understand. Like, even if the state thought they had a good case, these are your witnesses? These are your main witnesses? I would have been like, you're gonna have to take me off of this. The prosecutors that drew the short straw in this case, like, oh my goodness. I hope they're taking real criminals off the street. That dude should have been sitting at the other table. He should have been required to be at the defense table next to Keyshawn and all of them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then defense pulls out the whole meal ticket being gone thing. And my favorite part about this meal ticket thing is Brandy's face.
that doesn't even make sense, sir. I'll leave you to think about what you're saying later, because that quite literally makes no sense. If you're trying to obtain a meal ticket from somebody, why would you try to hurt them? That quite literally makes
Because it was over. He kicked her out. They broke up. You found out the gig was over. This married woman wasn't going to ever land an NFL player named Travis.
He's just
honest to God, the best
wrecking.
part of you guys' stream is her face.
It's
Forget
true.
the whole trial. You can just like leave it on mute and just sit and watch Brandy's face. The other day, she muted herself and she was like, I was living for it. I was like, I need an all Brandy's face channel. That's what we need. Somebody start a YouTube where every day you just react to Brandy's reactions to whatever trial she's doing. We're going to call it Brandy's face. That's it. It's hilarious.
It's true. It's true. And we're actually we will get to that whole muting thing in a bit here, because of course we are.
Oh,
So
God.
here's man, I don't even know how to intro this, so I'm just gonna hit
Okay.
play.
Is that why you're saying that, sir?
No, sir, not at all. I could care less what you think is in his pocket. I don't
Care what the jury thinks either, right? You don't care what anyone thinks.
I care what a lot of people think. More or less, I don't care for the image you're trying to paint. If you want to say there's something in his pocket, if you want to say there's something in the car, if you want to say this or that or whatever, Mark, I quite honestly could care less at this point. I've been here all day, so I'm more or less worried about getting home. My back hurts a lot right now. This is just, we're far from the point. What are you getting at?
You okay with that? Need a break? Maybe ask the judge. Want to ask the judge for a break?
Oh, you needed the potty break, Mark, not me. I'm good.
My name is Mark. We know each other personally.
Is that not your first name?
All right, it is time for a break.
The sass. Oh my God.
It's
Wow.
just like that is the reason why I created the emoji for our channel, Sassy
Oh
Pants.
my God. I cannot, like, sir.
Right?
You could hate that man. You could hate that man's guts. And there's a way to just be nasty or whatever. Not like, that's not it. That's not it.
Mhm.
That's not going to win you any points. But this dude has literally nothing to lose, right? He's not charged with anything. His friend is already dead. His family is not getting sued. He has nothing to lose. And he has to be there because he was subpoenaed, or he goes to trial, or he goes to jail. So he's like, I'm gonna sit here and be a jerk, and that's what I'm gonna do today. When he was just like, I don't even care, Mark, I was like, dang.
I've never seen somebody act like that on the stand. Honestly, I don't know
At
how
all.
it got that far. I don't
Right.
think it should have gotten that far.
Agreed.
But
Agreed.
Yep.
I just, I know his mama's embarrassed. I know she's about. I hope his parents are not living. Because if it was me, I would be like, I'm moving out of town. I don't know these people. I'm changing my name. It's ridiculous.
I would be doing like 100 to his home to meet him there when he got home. You know what I mean?
Calculation, I would do. I would wring my son's neck. I would wring his neck.
Oh yeah.
Out of control.
I do make that face. I've been called out.
Oh God! Oh, look at those two little puppies! Oh my God, those dogs are so cute. I'm a dog.
Oh
person.
yeah. We got a lot of doggos. Let's move. Let's get off of the Tyler train and move to the defense's medical examiner, because they had to call people out of order,
right?
Because people weren't there, and so the defense ME had a lovely, beautiful, that I think everybody wanted to stand and clap and might have interaction with Captain Combe over here, and so let's listen to this.
Could you afford to live without this private consulting aspect of your job?
Yes.
Would you have to live a little bit below the means you're living now if you did away with it?
Let's see. I'm trying to compare myself with your living. I guess I live probably better than you do, but if that's what you're trying to say.
But would it, you'd have to live a little bit less than your means if you took that 2/3 business.
Not really. I don't spend the money I earn. I put it to retirement. I don't have a retirement fund like you do through the state.
You used to, though, right?
No.
Not at all.
Never.
Examiner's office?
Nope.
Independent contractor, right?
Yeah.
Read him for
filth. The library was open.
Oh my God, he had no time for Captain Combe-Over's mess, and that is the hardest working comb-over in show business. I swear, for God, like it was a mess. And then he had sir, I would need you to mirror and look at the back of it. You should have sprayed some of that spray paint on his head so that his head was brown too. He needs help. That hair needs Jesus. That hair needs Jesus. It's ridiculous.
I do want to say that a lot of these clips have come from Jams and Alyssa on Twitter, and I appreciate them for doing that and allowing me to use their stuff.
They're awesome.
They are awesome. If you're interested in following them, just so I can, before I forget, doggone I will. But Alyssa's at Napplejacks, which is KN Applejacks. And then Jams is at JAMZS Mada, MADA. And so we'll try and pop that was my hand on my desk. We'll try and pop those in there.
Awesome. They're
as well.
Great.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy that. But I think our favorite part is coming up next. And it's a nice little break from everything. And boy, oh boy, it's Mr. K9. And so Jams wrote, "We're talking canine police dogs now, and I'm here for this. Please bring Canine Sailor into court as evidence." And it was all about Mr. Canine Daddy.
Dog Daddy. There he is. His talk of beef stew.
And here's a little bit about I don't know. I can't remember if this is the beef stew or not. Oh, is it? Where's the? Oh yeah, that's what that was. Somebody said that I was rolling my eyes, and I decided that I was going to tell them I was not, and so I decided to portal in now and again.
I love it when you portal in; it cracks me up. Oh, your face is over your face.
My face is over my face, and so now, hold on, wait a second. We gotta play move.
There's not enough space.
I know, right? All right, here we go. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, my favorite part's portaling in now and again.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
I mean, the reality is these are good-looking people.
Listen, but his voice, like his whole voice, everything about him, I was like, tell me more about the puppies and the beef stew and the whatever else. Like, especially after having all those jerks on the stand that were like, no, I don't want to be here. I don't care what the jury thinks. Like, ugh, ridiculous.
Not names.
Here is, and we'll spend some more time on Mr. K9. If he's, I don't know if he's been submitted officially yet for the calendar or not. But we'll figure it out.
I officially nominate him and his dog Sailor.
Lisa said I was hiding in a bush waiting to be sniffed and cuffed when K9 Beefy Lloyd's came on.
Oh God! Oh my God!
Brandi said I didn't hear a word he said after beef.
100%. I was at work trying to look busy, and I was like, "Oh, I am thoroughly distracted." I mean, sometimes you need just to break up your day, you need an emergency pup, right? Like a picture of a puppy, a picture of a kitty or whatever. But him talking about beef stew and pups and whatever else, I was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. May I have another? Oh my goodness.
And this next fella is not exactly the same one. This witness is a cold shower. However, he was the one who analyzed the phones. And his back and forth was just infuriating as well. But a lot, man, just literally all of this was just one frustration after another.
Oh, this guy.
Not names, no, sir.
So how do you, where Kyla Jones comes up, you admitted that, so nobody else's comes up?
Not necessarily, no, sir.
Okay, so how do you identify to this jury the 5 phones you looked at?
The IMEI numbers are typically the way in which it is identified.
I'm asking typically, is there a way you can do it for civilians that don't know or memorize the IME numbers with somebody's name possibly associated with that phone?
I'm not a civilian. I identify things using the IMEI numbers.
Tell me the 5 IME numbers of the phones you received, sir.
The first phone is IMEI number 353-7763-9878-3660.
And you cannot tell us at all whose phone that is?
Not offhand, no, sir.
Well, I'm asking offhand. You knew there was a trial today, right?
Yes, sir.
Your report?
I did.
Nothing in your report tells us an indication of whose phone that is, correct?
Again, names are not my concern. The
That's
devices.
my concern. I'm telling you my concern. Whose phone is it? Do you know?
I do not know.
Nothing in your report can help us figure that out. Right?
At this time, no.
What time are you coming back later, or did you know this was the trial today?
Sustained.
Did you know today was the trial, that we needed to know these things, or you didn't know that?
Oh, that was a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes.
But why aren't you prepared?
I am prepared.
All right. Tell me the second phone, so the IME number.
I'm going to argue that he wasn't prepared.
I don't get this dude. I don't understand why he was so nasty. Like, go up there, give your testimony, and get like the other professionals. They didn't seem to be taking it personally. He seemed to take it so personally. It was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I hope that he ended up going back and watching some of that. But, jeez, it's just like, how do you not attach a name to a cell phone? Like, how do you know whose text you're reading? How do you like? And not just for him. Yeah, he might just not.
Right.
He might have to look at that. But you're creating a report for like laymen who don't do what you do. And so how are they supposed to know? Well, I guess they're not, because, well, you did a 17-minute investigation. You only cared about one party, and that was it. So
and was that his first time in court? Like, has he never gone to court before?
He looks like he's seen some stuff, so I'm guessing he's been around. So,
but was mad to be there. Big mad to be there in court. I was like, sir, excuse me, is this not your job?
Right. Absolutely.
I think most people should have comported themselves like CeeLo, the medical examiner, who was like, just the facts. I'm here to give you the information. This is what I have. This is an easy to understand version of it. Here you go. Here it is. That's it.
It took me a second to pull the CeeLo reference, but yes, you're right.
Yes.
For sure. And like, what was interesting is that the mood overall, like, you know, the tone was set for the last 3 days, and I think it even really got to the judge too, and the judge got a little snippy too. Now you're going to see lead detective in this, but this clip is not about the lead detective, not really, because judge decides to go all dictionary and grammar Nazi on us here.
I remember this one.
Before you go further.
Yes, ma'am.
Upon looking at the decedent, did it appear to you that he had been holding any items in his hand?
Oh, well, overruled. I'll let you get into it on cross. Go ahead, you can answer the
Did he
question.
appear to be holding anything in his hand?
No, ma'am.
What can you tell us about the decedent?
I'm sorry, you got to use better grammar than that. Your first question was, did he appear to have been holding? And then you asked, did he appear to be holding?
Okay.
So the tense was misleading. Got it? All right, so go ahead again.
Also, can you diagram that sentence while you're up there? Periodically, he wakes up and just chimes in with something random, like, okay, sir, sure.
Inverted pyramid. That's what the journalists use. Inverted pyramid. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Somebody asked
God.
me, wait, where was it? Melissa said, did you not see the casting discussion? I saw a little bit of it, but I did have somebody, I did have one of our mods. Well, they did it on their own accord because our mods are awesome. But Amos put together a casting chart. So we'll do that too near the end. It doesn't have
Oh, we
everybody,
gotta
and if
see
anybody
that.
has suggestions, let us know. But before we get to that, we're going to move into our favorite, not favorite person to just give hell, pretty much.
Hey, I'm here for it.
And that's our lead detective. And we are going to pull so many moments from this testimony that honestly, she did it to herself. I don't feel bad.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It is absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, she didn't care. You're right.
And
You're
she seemed
absolutely
like
right.
she acted like she was doing something. Like, lady, no, you did not do anything. You did absolutely nothing. I mean, I admire her sitting there just like staying calm and not being snarky and rude like some of the other ones. But lady, you should have kept your behind home for all the information you gave. She was ridiculous. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
She didn't have any laurels to rest on to be snarky or rude. She was being called out, and she knew it.
Yeah, that man beat her so badly. I was like, this is a DV situation. We might need to call the police. He publicly flogged her for 2 days nonstop. It was crazy.
Well, and if it was the public prosecution, they'd be blaming the person who got, because they don't really understand how that works at all. Which anger, frustration. But we're not really going to talk too much about that tonight, because I think that just brings WTF to a whole nother level that we're not willing to get to. But let's talk about this first thing when, the lead detective, who's the lead detective, chooses not to talk to their people at all on the night of.
Did you ever talk to a West Palm Beach police officer? The first one who arrived and at all? Did you ever talk to him?
I know I spoke with officers on scene. I can't recall if I specifically spoke with the first officer on scene.
Okay. Did you ever hear from the first officer or from one of his supervisors that he passed this area going north and had to make a U-turn and actually passed it again, then backed up, and the reflection of his lights actually hit the car, and that's when he backed up. His blue lights hit the car, and he saw two silhouettes back here by the fence area, in front of the fence area. Never heard that?
All that.
That could be important, right?
What? She never heard that.
It could be.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
It could be.
Okay, it could be someone possibly hiding something behind the fence, right?
There's no evidence of that, sir.
Well, how could you find evidence if you don't even bother looking? Does it magically just show up?
No.
Well, how can you say there's no evidence of that? Because you didn't look, there's no evidence of that. But you don't really know if anything was back there because you never bothered checking, right?
If there's no evidence, no information that evidence exists, I don't look for it. I don't waste taxpayers' money to look for things that I have no information exists.
You found out there was a gun, at least on April 8th, that belonged to Tyler Robinson. Now you know the guys in the car lied to you at the scene, right?
No.
Yes.
Oh, they didn't lie to you about no one having a gun.
That does not mean that people lied to me.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm saying.
That means they were truthful.
They were just joking.
In your book.
They were just joking.
It's really
It's funny. You laughing?
not funny at all.
We're just joking. We were just joking. We were just joking about not taking guns.
Sustained.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, so if the evidence shows up and knocks on my door and says, "Hi, I'm the gun," then maybe. But otherwise, she's like, I don't know what you want. I just, the whole thing is crazy making. Crazy.
I don't understand where she went to school. Like, did she go to like NCIS Academy or CSI?
Not
And by that I mean the
even.
TV shows. The TV shows.
I was
Because
gonna say she hasn't even watched an episode of Law and Order. Like nothing. We're gonna get her a cable package. That's what we're gonna get her, a cable package, because that is ridiculous. Come on now,
Law and
lady.
Order. An episode of Law and Order lasts longer than that real life investigation.
God, it's ridiculous. When she started talking, I was like, okay, they have a lady detective. That's nice. Let's see what she has to say. And I was like, wait, what? What? She did absolutely nothing. And was like, well, I got some information, but then I had a pot roast in the oven. So I had to just go on and, stir my soup and get my kids ready for school or whatever. She was out of control, ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And what I love is that she said she was not going to waste taxpayer money, but
honey, everything about that woman is a waste of taxpayer money. Every single thing about her. Can she still be a cop after this? Can we vote her off the island? Like, I don't know how all of that works, but she needs to go. She does not need to be a police officer. She's ridiculous.
it is insane. Oh, here's the next one.
Well, as I said before, we don't know whether he got shot in the car, as he got out of the car, or completely out of the car. What we do know is that he was shot, and it is not always that somebody immediately begins bleeding when they're shot. That doesn't happen all the time.
Okay, so you have a medical degree to tell this jury when somebody like Mr. Robinson, how he would bleed or not bleed. You're telling us that maybe he wasn't bleeding when he got shot? That's your testimony? You know that?
I said none of those things. I'm most certainly not a medical professional. What I said was based on my training and experience, and I've seen many, many people who have been shot alive and dead. And based on where it is, they don't immediately start gushing blood like they do on TV, is what I'm saying.
All right, how many people did you actually witness get shot in person? 0, right?
It witnessed shot immediately?
You never witnessed a person get shot immediately right in front of you?
No, sir.
How can you tell the jury they don't start bleeding immediately or not if you don't see that?
Because I've seen victims of crimes who were, or just people who were shot in different areas. And even at the time that I see them, which is not immediately after they were shot, they're not bleeding a lot.
Okay.
She's just making stuff up.
Based on the wounds of Tyler Robinson, whether he would have been bleeding.
Right?
He said he was bleeding. He said, and she was like, well, people don't always bleed just because they were shot. All those bloodless gunshot wounds that are out here. Okay, sure, ma'am. Oh my God, I can't with this lady.
It takes one episode, like literally, again, cable package, right?
Right.
It takes one episode of watching Cops to see somebody who's been shot sitting on the sidewalk. They're not just kind of like.
And he talked about the fact that he knew he was bleeding. He said, she was like, I don't know if people start bleeding just because they got shot. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to have all the seats. All of the seats. She's ridiculous. Oh, y'all got my pressure. I can't. I cannot. She's too much. She's too much.
And you know what's funny is that the majority of like WTF for us is hysterical because we got to laugh. And to a degree, this is funny, but I think it's funny because it's not, or I think it's less funny because it's not over yet. And we don't know just how messed up this mess up is going to mess up Travis Rudolph's life.
Yep.
And so that's why it's hard for us, I think, right now. But I think with the right determination by the jury, I think we're just going to be laughing at this.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. I'm dying to hear Travis testify. Like, I'm so ready to hear the mom testify. I'm ready to hear Travis testify. And then I don't want the prosecution to do any redirect because they need to sit down and go on and take their L. Honestly, if Dominique had just taken her L and went like, you know what? I'm out. I lost this. He don't want me no more. I got the big booty. He still don't want me. He thinks Kyla looks better. I'm going to go home and I'm going to be real mad and eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's like a normal human being. Then she would have been good. And then had the prosecution looked at this case and went, yeah, no, we don't get spanked on national television. This is not what we want to do. If you're going to go on
Right.
TV, at least you want a case you think is a winner. This is not that case. Not
Well,
at all.
Here's a little bit more about her, her
God.
searching for evidence.
If in Broadway at all.
No, sir.
Absolutely no, right?
Yes, sir.
Your word. And you absolutely didn't ask him to go search the path of travel, even for 2 blocks away from which this car traveled, right?
I don't believe, I'm not even sure if I spoke to him that night. As I've said before, we all work in a team and different people take on different roles. I'm not sure that I even saw him that night.
Asked the sergeant to help you out. You knew he was there, and you knew he found the gun with his dog, right?
I knew he responded. I did know that he found a gun. But as far as directing him where to go, exactly where he went, that was not something that I specifically coordinated.
You could have called him or asked your sergeant or your lieutenant or your captain. Do me a favor, ask Agent McMichael to take Sailor and walk a couple of blocks to see where the oil path went down Redwood to Dixie Highway or Federal, whatever you call it, and check if there was even a gun and then thrown out or a weapon thrown out in that immediate area. You didn't do that, did you?
Well, I know that the dog was
Yes,
there.
no, and then you can explain. Did you do that, ma'am?
Did I ask specifically for that? No, sir.
Okay, you want to explain why you didn't ask for it?
Agent McMichael is a professional who is highly trained in what he does. He knew,
unlike me,
why he was there. I trust my coworkers, who I still trust, to properly inform Agent McMichael. So it wouldn't necessarily be necessary for me to supervise it when I knew that he knows how to do his job, and I know that my trusted coworkers were handling that particular part of this investigation.
He testified earlier today that nobody asked him to do a search down the rest of Redwood and Federal all the way to where the car was parked in Broadway and 40th. If he was asked, he could have done that, but nobody asked him. Do you dispute that?
Certainly nobody asked him to check all the way down to 40th. No, sir.
Okay. Do you dispute that testimony?
If that's testimony he gave, then no.
Okay. And do you dispute that Agent Michael didn't even know what was going on or there was even a scene on 40th and Broadway? He had no knowledge.
I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't.
Why you as the lead detective didn't inform him of that?
Because I didn't have any information that there was evidence there for him to search for.
There it is. Didn't have any information.
She needs a PIP, a performance improvement plan. She needs a timeout. Like, how is this lady a detective? I get it that it's only her 4th case, but this should be her last. This should be her last, and she can go on and write tickets for people jaywalking or something else. Because she's ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And like, this is where I kind of want to talk just a little bit about her professionally throwing people under the bus, saying that my team knows what they're doing, therefore I didn't feel like I had to do anything, but also at the same time saying, because I didn't do anything, obviously I can't be to blame because they didn't look for it. And like, it's the most loose version of laissez-faire leadership that I've ever heard, where basically you let your followers have their autonomy to make their own decisions and manage their own desks. However, here's the thing, like, you can't do that.
And you have to offer some guidance. What do you need? She's like, so I get the feeling that she thought being a police detective was just going to be like, she was going to wear a cute suit and some nice shoes, and she could wear her badge on a necklace, and then everybody else would do the work, and she would show up and say, look, I made a case. No, ma'am, that's not how that happened. That's not how that works. She didn't watch The Wire. She didn't watch The Wire. You got to go out. You got to look for things. You got to ask people questions. She could have Googled and got more information than she came up with. She's ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And because she's ridiculous, that left me and Brandi like this. The whole time.
That picture says it all. It says it all. She's like,
really
they're
does.
Professionals. And I assumed they were off professionaling, and I was getting myself a second Starbucks for the day. Like, she's nuts. Oh my God.
And so, here is by far one of my most favorite, least favorite moments in this trial, where she decided that there wasn't a certain technology that she was aware of that everybody's aware of. And here it is. Maybe. Nope. It will be in a second here. As soon as I re-click on it and actually fix the volume. There we go.
Since the simple fact that somebody removed their clothes is not a telltale sign of really anything.
Means they're just hot and they just want to cool off a little bit, right?
It could mean many things, sir.
What else could it mean?
Could mean all sorts of things. I'm not going to speculate as to why somebody that has already been on this witness stand did what he did.
You're trained police officers.
Hold on. I got the wrong one.
Is that the one where she was talking about the guy having his shirt off or whatever? They didn't collect the shirt.
We are going to get to that for sure. For sure. All right.
John Jones?
There's no way to do that unless I go to each and every gun retailer and ask them specifically if that specific person purchased a gun.
Not true. Every time someone buys a gun, they have to do a background check, or if they have a CCW, concealed weapons permit, they fill out a sign-up form and it goes to the state of Florida, and they keep records of every serial number and every gun purchased. Isn't that true?
No.
You don't believe that's true? You said no. You don't believe that's true, ma'am?
There is no database for me to look up who buys what firearm. That doesn't, to my knowledge, that doesn't exist. If that's some new technology that I'm not aware of, it may be, but I'm not aware.
Well, let me tell you, I bring you the most cutting edge technology that took me 5 minutes to find, also known as the National Tracing Center. By ATF.
Maybe it's a surprise to her. Maybe they're not allowed to have internet. She clearly couldn't Google. She doesn't know how to investigate. Like, I cannot.
Right?
Wait.
Right?
Kathy's
Jennifer
iPad.
said,
you know, I can't read it because the strings I have tying my iPad to the thing.
She said it's your MacGyver fund. Also, can we keep her?
Oh, puppy. Oh my goodness, all the little dogs. What's your dog's name? Can we just talk about people's dogs' names? Everybody put your dog's name in the chat. Okay, I can glance over and see. Yeah, everything about this trial, honestly, once Travis is acquitted, it's all going to be fine, right? Like, we'll all be fine. But if he is found guilty at all for any reason on any charge at all, other than he should have showed less restraint and shot out all 4 of Mama's tires. And also, how are these boys? You don't even have a car of your own. You rolling up in your mom's car to be a badass? And look at all the dog names. Oh my God, I'm so distracted. I'm like, squirrel. Oh my God. Luna, Ginger, Rosie, Rocco. Oh my God, Cashew. I love Cashew. Somebody's cat's name is Toast.
Oh, I do like
oh
that's
my
a nice
God, I love
name.
it so much. I've
Look at all
totally
these stuff.
sidetracked the chat. There's so many cute dog names.
You know, one of the first things when we did the Valo trial and they were getting into some really difficult stuff, Brandi said, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to post on Twitter, send me some pictures of your animals or things that make you happy. And I ended up with like 50 photos that we just ran through. We just ran through them on repeat.
Skipper and Jasmine. I'm sorry. I'm totally distracted by the dogs.
No, I love it. My cat's name is Dr. Spencer Reed. I love that. Ooh,
oh my
Simba.
gosh. I love it so much. Linus and Nick. How come it's not Linus and Blanket? Oh my, some of y'all got a lot of pets. This is so cute. Oh my gosh. Chanel, Lacey, and Winnie. Oh, say you're a cat lady without saying you're a cat lady. No shade to cat ladies. We like cat ladies and cat men and dogs. There's a cat that roamed through my front yard, and I was just like, it looks hungry. And so I went and I got it some tuna, and then I didn't have tuna to make my husband lunch. I was like, he was like, you fed tuna, my tuna to that stray cat. Speaking of dogs.
And then you ended up with a cat, not the husband.
Yeah, right. Since then, I bought just like a one. Everybody in my house is allergic to cats, so I bought this one little can of cat food in case the cat comes back. I haven't seen it since. It's probably somebody's cat. It had a collar on it, but I was like, it looked hungry, and it was licking its little chops. It ate the tuna. Apparently tuna's like white tuna in oil or whatever, the albacore. I gave that cat the good stuff.
That is the good stuff.
He should come back and at least say hi.
Right?
Thank you for sharing all your pet names.
Yeah. I don't know who instigated that one, but that was awesome. All right, so we're gonna go back to the shirt, and
oh God,
this is fun. Tell me you're privileged without telling me you're privileged.
Tyler Robinson took his shirt off after the doorbell, not the doorbell, but the door was knocked on, and then he takes his shirt off before Mr. Rudolph's brother comes out the door. You don't know that.
I don't recall that, and I can't tell that by those images alone. No, sir.
You saw the real video, the actual video.
Did, and I can't recall whether he took his shirt off. At what point he took his shirt off. I recall his shirt being off, though.
And he came there with it on, right?
I can't recall that.
Well, wouldn't it be a factor for you to consider what someone's motive is if they take their shirt off, go into a stranger's home with 3 of their friends or brothers to allegedly talk to this man? Wouldn't that be a factor for you to consider?
Well, it was a factor that was already discussed prior.
So I meant really, that doesn't show you Tyler Robinson is there to get into a fight or to kill somebody?
No, sir. Definitely does not.
That
Lee, a
confirms
gun
he's
in
here
their
to
pocket.
talk to somebody like he told you, right?
The amount that somebody is clothed doesn't determine anything as far as specifically the Lee. motive, one way or another, sir.
You ever get to high school and see guys take their shirt off right before they get into a fist fight? You ever seen that?
To be perfectly honest, in my high school, no.
Did this heifer have a coy smile? Not in my high school. You were
Not in my
fancy.
high school. My favorite part was
Girl.
somebody said pool party, and then wait, where is it? Oh shoot, where'd it go? No. Oh, I had it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. The pocket bulge was a pool noodle.
You come to swim in my pool, or you just happy to see me? Like, oh my God.
Yes. The answer is yes.
They're ridiculous. It's so unbelievable. It's like something from a bad movie, right? It looks like something you would see on TV. Like, oh, I'm the investigator. You wanted me to investigate and look for things? Is that the new way they do things? And her not knowing there's a gun database. Ma'am. Oh my God.
They need to look at a lot of different things in that training. But one of the things they need to look at is, very recent short-term memory, which I don't really have much of, but I'm also not on a stand as a lead detective. But Alyssa, who I mentioned earlier, did a great job in which she put 2 videos together, one after the other, where the end of the day, her first day, she said something, and then the beginning of the second day, she said, "I never said that," and contradicted herself. And Alyssa was like, "Well, I'm going to find these," and and so here's the first one.
Lee, a gun in their pockets.
You said yesterday something that would be crazy for anyone to think there was a gun in the pocket. You don't remember that?
I never said that, sir. Lee, a gun in their.
All right, wait a second. Maybe that was backwards. Was that backwards?
There is nobody who, in their right mind at least, would make a speculation, especially with an image such as that is a gun.
Nobody in their right mind would think that's possibly a gun. That's what you just said, right?
No, that's not what I just said.
Do you not can't with her? Has she ever been to court before? Does she know,
does she even go here?
Right? She don't go here. She don't know nothing about this police and life. Mm-mm.
This reference is either going to hit some people or is going to go right over your heads. But there is an old Jerry Lewis Dean Martin movie called The Delicate Delinquent. And Jerry Lewis is trying to get on the police force. And one of the things that Jerry Lewis has to do is he has this box of shapes. And the box of shapes, you have to shake up and open it up, and you got to get the shapes in the right place, right? And I think that's what she needs. I think she needs a little bit of that. She needs a little bit of that. I can't
Oh my
understand.
God. She's not. When he first started crossing her, I was like, okay, she is lost. And he just flogged her for hours and hours. At one point, I did some other stuff. I turned the volume down. I was outside. I was watering my plants. I came back and I was like, oh, he's still beating her up? Oh, okay, cool. Maybe he'll be done tomorrow. And then I went to an appointment with my child and came back and he was still beating her up. I was like, oh my goodness. And she's so dumb. Just so dumb. It's painful. Even her curls gave up. The first day she had the beachy waves and ringless. The second day her curls was like, please don't beat us no more, please. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Jam said, y'all leave her alone. She stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. She's fully qualified. Mamasaurus Rex said, Kathy is all of us.
I was like, I can't. Can we kneecap her? I mean, I am not a proponent of violence unless you need to. It's like violence is like divorce. I do not believe in divorce unless you need a divorce. She needs to get fired. That's all there is to it. She needs to get fired. There's no way in the world she should keep that job.
Big Daddy says, Chief, where'd you get this investigator? Lieutenant, I thought you hired her. And then it's like, Shirley, you can't be serious. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. It's you know what I mean? Like,
everybody's gonna go full Mariah Carey on this heifer. I don't know her. I don't know her. I don't know her.
All right. And so one of the last things from her that we're gonna hit on is what I like to call the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh.
Exhibit number 3.
Chandra,
Evidence.
happy 1 month anniversary with us, Chandra.
You see that?
Yes.
All right. The gentleman who has the hair that's braided on the top. You know who that is?
That is the decedent, Mr. Jean-Jacques.
You agree that his phone was found in the back of the car in a satchel. It was your word, right?
Yes.
Do you know what was in his pockets when the medical examiner investigator took Mr. Jean-Jacques, the decedent, out of the vehicle?
Yes.
What?
He had keys in his pocket at that time.
2 keys, right?
I believe so.
Anything else?
Not that I'm aware of.
Is it your testimony that the pocket that's depicted in this picture for the decedent is consistent with the 2 keys that he had in his pocket upon removal from the car by Mr. Linguasco, the investigator for the ME's office?
It could be absolutely anything that is pocket-sized, sir.
Is it consistent with the 2 keys is my question. If you know. If you don't know, that's fine.
I'm not going to speculate to that. No, sir.
Did you ever bother printing these pictures out and getting them checked out to find out what may be in these pockets of Mr. Jean-Jacques and Mr. Chris Lowe? Did you ever bother doing that?
Can you repeat what you're asking me if I ever bothered to do?
Print these pictures out. 8x10s, poster board size, whatever.
Okay.
Didn't you see there was something in their pockets that looked like guns?
That
Thank you.
is not indicative necessarily of a gun.
Necessarily. So you're using words that I don't understand. Does that mean it is a gun, it might be a gun, or necessarily it's not a gun? What? We have no opinion, or you don't know.
It means it could be anything pocket-sized.
Could be a gun, right?
I suppose, but it's not gun-shaped. It's not obviously, blatantly, blaringly, obviously a firearm. And no matter what size paper I printed it on, there is nobody who, in their right mind at least, would make a speculation, especially with an image such as that is a gun.
Nobody in their right mind would think that's possibly a gun. That's what you just said, right?
No, that's not what I just said.
No one in their right mind would say that's possibly a gun.
No. What I said is that nobody, no matter what size I printed it, could I present those photos to, and they would say that is a gun. There is no way to unequivocally, by that picture, say that that is a gun.
Yeah, it's consistent with a gun, right?
You
disagree with that, ma'am?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
You ever put a gun in your pocket and see if it looks just like this?
No, I did not, sir.
You ever get a pair of pants and just put a gun in there and see it bulging out exactly the same? You never tried that, did you?
No, the imprint in his pocket is not obviously in the shape of a gun. So I would never be able to say that that was a gun.
Are you an expert in imprints in people's pants?
I'm not an expert, but as a law enforcement officer, that's something that we deal with often.
What training do you have to make that opinion that you don't believe it's consistent with a gun? Where are you forming that opinion? Or are you just trying to protect your case, ma'am?
Oh my
Boom.
It's not about protecting anybody. I know what a handgun looks like based on my training experience. And
Are we
I know
sure?
that shape is not unequivocally the shape of a handgun.
Okay, girl.
I'm waiting for it. I know it's coming. It's coming.
Okay, but we do know that it's something that was in his pocket that was more than
why
the
that
keys,
one?
that was no longer on him by the time
All right,
they
why
got
that
to him.
one? I mean, I understand what you're trying to, here, come on. Somebody come up from the
So we
state,
have a
please.
little bit of
Please stand
a,
up, stretch, ladies and gentlemen. Members of
there's a
the
little
public.
bit of a small break.
Did not call police.
Watching the video that there's a possibility that Mr. Gene Jacques and Mr. Chris Lowe had a gun in their pocket?
The
Yes or no, or then you can explain. Yes or no, and then explain if you need to. Did you ever think that, as a detective in this case, that either one of those gentlemen may have had a gun based on that video?
no.
I'm not going to take it out, but defense exhibit number 7 is the Taurus 9mm. State's exhibit number 7. Thank you, ma'am. Case number 7. You don't know what this would look like if it was in somebody's athletic pants, or the similar pants that was Mr. Gene Jacques was wearing the night of this crime, right?
I know what the imprint of a firearm looks like in a pocket of very thin fabric.
Examples of it? Can you show us?
As I stand here today, no, sir.
Okay. And you're telling me it's completely different than what I showed you in the photographs from the doorbell cam?
What I'm saying is that that image and that video is not unequivocally indicative of anybody being armed. It's not even enough to raise a true and well-founded suspicion that it's a firearm. That is not in the shape of a firearm. It is a bulge. It could have been their anatomy, sir. I can't speculate as to what it is.
I think it was their private part.
What?
It could have been anything.
What?
I just snorted.
Okay, I'm not entirely certain that she knows what a gun looks like. Let's start there. But she's saying it could have been his business, his
business.
kibbles and bits.
His kibbles and bits is John Thomas.
Oh my God. I did not see that last week when it happened. That's probably when I had my son at the orthodontist. Because I was like, I can't with this lady. Oh my God. That could be his anatomy. She would be like, and by the way, excuse me, sir. Oh my God. Listen, I think all life is sacred, but this might have been a public service homicide. I'm just saying. Just him showing up at the way he showed up with his anatomy like that. Okay.
Just
He had a gun in his pocket or some hard whatever in his pocket. Okay. Sure.
First off,
sure, Jan.
It's a hoodie. And unless he's playing yes, it is his Storm.
Storm. That's exactly it. His Storm. A divining rod. Oh my God.
I also absolutely love the fact that she obviously got an email in her inbox that said the word of the day today is unequivocally. And that's what you should use at least 5 times to sound like you're smart.
And absolutely. His business. Wait, have you seen that? As a quick aside, that Taylor business case? Have you seen it?
I've seen small bits of it. If we end up covering it, I'm not sure whether we are or not. But I also try not to look too much into things.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. But yeah, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Oh,
yeah,
God. She was like, I can't believe I forgot the head. Oh, I had thoughts. I had strong thoughts and feelings about that case there. A lot of thoughts. Lot of thoughts. Listen, she had to have that extra crazy kitty cat if he was going to be willing to do all of that. They didn't have a safe word. Okay, I'm sorry. I got distracted. She choked the man out with a chain. He might have said the safe word, but he couldn't get enough breath to take it out. And she had such a fun time choking. Then she took his man business off and she put it in a bucket and left it in his mama's house. How you defile his mama's house like that? She will never be able to sell that house. She ruined the resale value on that house with a head in a bucket and his man parts at the bottom of the stairs. I can't with these people. First the garlic bread, then the bucket in the head, and no resale value, and then this I can't. It's too late at night for me to have my pressure this high. These people are ridiculous.
we are nearing the end. We are. But before we move on
Praise
to
Black Jesus.
To Daryl, speaking of, right?
Well, speaking of Jesus, go ahead.
Before we get to Daryl, what I'd like to do is just play Brandi's end. She said something just right off the cuff that I thought was really good after this lead detective, and here it is.
One man's life is gone. Another's is on the line. And she made up her mind about what was going to happen in 17 minutes. And she didn't do any kind of investigation to see if she was right. She only tried to pull anything that was handed to her to support what she decided in that 17 minutes. And that is insane to me.
I think that hits everything that we
100%.
You know what I mean?
That 17-minute investigation is it is a sin and a shame. It is a sin and a shame the way they've done these people. It's crazy. And by these people, I mean the Rudolphs, not those other ridiculous folks.
Right. So next up, well, the prosecution rested their case on such a high note. And then the defense got started, and Travis's brother Daryl was the first one up. And there's a couple of things that we'll point out here. The first one was him basically verbally backhanding prosecution with what they were trying to prove with what he texted Dominique after all of this happened. And here it is. Maybe. Are you? No? Hold on. Wait a moment. Why ain't that working? It's oh my God. What is happening? Hold on. Oh, hey, now it's wanting to catch up. There we go.
12:59 in the morning is, I would have done the same for my sister, but the way that situation was handled was wrong as fuck, and know it. Them N-words about my mama, and to it, it's a wrap. That's what you said, right?
Yes, sir.
So you even say after all of this happened that you would have done what they did, just in a different fashion, right?
Same text, it says, like you said, I would have felt the same out the false allegations that Dominique made, but I would not have handled it the way that they handled it.
Boom. Done.
Oh, what happened? What happened?
Oh, hold on. Wait a second. There we go.
I'm so excited. Hi. How are you? How was the music festival? Who'd you go see?
It was amazing. It was a whole bunch of country artists. It's been 4 days, and I am like,
you got yourself a little sun there, lady.
Yes.
You two kibitz for 1 second. You two kibitz for 1 second, and I'm gonna stop drinking so much water. Okay, be right.
He had to go wee wee.
I know. He needed a potty break, like Mark.
Mark, yeah, just like Mark.
I've been catching a little bit of it while once I got service when we were leaving and stuff. I got to catch a little bit of it, and I was reading some of the chat and stuff too. And everybody's so glad to have you here. We love you so much here.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. When I saw the message, I was like, "Oh my God, they want me." I watch you guys, and I talk to you in my head and out loud in my house all the time. My dogs are like, "We are home alone. Who is she talking to?"
Yeah, I told them like the whole thing with Churchwell Chart started like you're the one who called it Churchwell Charts. You were the first one to ever call it that. So, and I was like, that's perfect. We'll go with that. So I like that started the hashtag and everything. So all of the Churchwell Charts, everything started from.
As soon as I saw your first chart, listen, I'm minding my business, sitting on my toilet early in the morning, scrolling through, catching up on Murdoch, right? As one does. And I was like, oh, look at this chart. Brandi Churchwell. She should call this a Churchwell chart. Let me send her, because I don't know how Twitter works, right? Like I can do Instagram, I can do Facebook, but I don't really do it. But I can work Instagram, but Twitter, I can read, but I can't figure out how to tag things. I can never find things. But I was like, I'm gonna make a new hashtag and I'm gonna keep hashtagging Churchwell Chart over and over and over until this nice lady, I thought she was in the Carolinas. I was like, that nice lady down there in the Carolinas, she needs a brand, and I'm just gonna brand her while sitting right here on my toilet. And so I did.
You did. It worked. It worked.
And now you're a full cult leader. It's so exciting.
I know. It's so funny. I got to catch up on the first part of everything. I missed the first part, but I've got to catch some of the second half of the show, and watching some. I didn't realize how expressive my reactions are when I'm watching sometimes until I see them. And I'm like, and for all of it. And I always tell people, I laugh at it. I'm like, I can't fix my face. Like you're going to see whatever I'm thinking, you are going to see it. But somebody just said it because I got a little bit of sunburn being out there. Somebody was like, we're not gonna be able to tell when you're mad now. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I saw last week people kept telling you to turn on your AC because you were so red.
I was so red. I was so mad.
Jibbity Bippity wants to ask about where the bucket, the eggplant, and the home with no resale value. What case is that? That's your business.
That's your business. Wisconsin be your business.
It sounds like we're making that up, but it's your business.
Honest to God. Yeah. Honest to God. It sounds like a Southern person. That's your business. I don't know nothing about it. Don't ask me. That's your business. That's what I hear. That's the way I remember it.
Literally nobody, lead investigator. Hear me out. Investigations in under 20 minutes or they're free.
Right? Oh my God. This whole case, I just want to go to the the Travis is free parade, the Travis got off parade, because he deserves one after this.
Mm-hmm. I went on a full-on earlier today. I went on like a full-on deep dive into, like, I've still got all my festival stuff on, into I don't have scissors either. We'll have to wait. I went into like a full-on deep dive into like social media stuff, whatever. And I was posting a lot of stuff that I found, but one thing too on she, and I'm not saying this means anything, but I'm just saying this is the only thing that from her, she's Facebook friends with the DA, the woman DA.
Wait, she who is Facebook friends with the woman DA?
The lead investigator. She's Facebook friends with the assistant DA, I guess, the woman, the female DA. So I'm like, oh,
well,
okay.
They do work together. I mean, I think it's bad form to have your coworkers on your social media, but that's just me.
Especially
then you can't
in
talk
that
crap about them.
I think especially in that type of situation, I think it's a bad look, but but that's just me.
There's another case they're covering on Dateline where the case might get thrown out because of the relationship between one of the investigators and the DA.
Oh, really?
They just it's like returned to whatever the name of the case was. Because it was like a mystery that, I mean, they're all mysteries. I guess they couldn't figure it out. And then this one guy gets convicted and he's like, I'm telling you, it was not me. And come to find out that the investigator and the district attorney were having an affair. And it has all come out. I am living for it. Oh, I want to know all their business.
Yeah. You love the gossip stuff. That's your favorite part, I know, of the trial.
Yes. Yes. I'm like, you need your facts and figures, but I want to know all the behind the scenes mess. That's my favorite part.
So I I queued up because people were interested, and I'll bring myself at some point back. Hold on. Here I come. I portaled out briefly. Hold on.
Like, what are we looking at?
Don't worry.
It's
So
a
somebody brought up
surprise.
the Shabusiness attacking in the courtroom.
Oh, when she attacks her lawyer.
And so I figured I'd just
yeah.
bring this up right now so you guys can see exactly how insane this was. So here it is. She just goes after him. So she's like sitting there real quiet, like here. Boom. And
They
then-
pushed her trial date back by 2 months or something, and she lost her mind.
Here's another view. Boom.
Oh, I didn't realize she hit him too.
Oh yeah. For
Yeah, he
sure.
has to be taken off the case. He got excused from the case.
I don't
Good.
blame him for that.
I'm glad he did.
It's like that Monster Energy attack that Letitia did. Did you watch that one? The Letitia Stalk trial when they were transporting her. They went to arrest her in South Carolina, and they were taking her back to Colorado. And they had her handcuffed, but they had her. They had stopped. I guess she had a Monster Energy drink, and she got her Monster Energy drink, and she like hit the lady, lady detective or officer or whatever it was that was riding with her. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
It was on video. Oh yeah.
The drive was 24 hours long or more than that. And you can see Stout has
Boom.
an energy drink.
She straight up, she nailed her with a mommy
Yeah.
Monster Energy drink.
Yeah. She got her hands out of the handcuffs and hit her. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she was a special kind of. I don't know what was going on with her.
Oh yeah, that heifer's nuts. Yeah, that heifer's nuts for real.
So here, I'm gonna be the evil one.
Jesus, he's back.
He's back. He is back. And so the in this clip, this really bothered me. Is that well? I'll let it go, and then we can talk about the rest of it.
That when those boys were knocking on the door, you thought it was the police?
You mean those grown men that was knocking on the door?
That's all I need.
I loved
That's
that.
all I need.
I loved that.
Yep.
I don't.
He's like, let me set the record straight. Yep. Absolutely.
I loved that.
I also have a really, really hard time with him calling them boys.
Ugh. And like they were infants riding up on their tricycles to like have a play date and get some ice cream or something. Sir, they came at midnight with guns. What did you expect to happen?
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Ridiculous.
And Jay, I think in this next clip, Joy. That's Joy, not Jay. I can't see O's and A's right now. I'm cross-eyed. But this is right. And I think in this next clip, he does this. We see him turn to the jury. And it's when he's basically summing up the entire trial. And I thought he just nailed this like fantastically.
What did you mean by that?
Basically, like the same way how they did my brother. I mean, like sometimes officers may try to twist things and try to, and it's like they just jump to conclusions with my brother. So I feel if I talk to him, they'll try to like do me the same way as they did my brother.
You'll be charged with murder.
That's correct.
That's why you wanted a lawyer, to make sure you were treated fairly?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Wait, no, I'm not. Am I? Hold on.
All these questions about the text and read each one.
That's correct.
There was more text than that, or no, or you don't know?
No, not sure. Don't remember.
That was kind of heated.
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you start telling her every detail about what happened, about them pulling up, a gun pointed at you by Tyler, the two guys pointed guns at you and your brother. Your brother shot back.
Mm-hmm.
Not first, rather. Well, maybe shot back. I don't know. But why didn't you do that?
Just interest talking to him because I didn't have a lawyer present. Oh, to Dominique?
Why didn't you try to explain all the details to her?
I mean, she orchestrated the whole thing, so I thought it was self-explanatory that she knew what happened. I mean, she's the reason why we all sitting here in this courtroom. She's the reason why the jury there. She's the reason why Sebastian's side of the family there. She's the reason why my side of the family here. She's the reason why my brother here. So she orchestrated the whole thing. So you would think that the person orchestrated the whole thing. It would be some things just self-explanatory. So I thought it was self-explanatory that she will understand like what happened.
Any doubt in your mind, sir, that 2 guns were pointed at you?
That's correct.
No, any doubt in your mind?
No doubt at all.
Any doubt in your mind that Travis Rudo is your hero?
That's correct.
That part.
Yep.
Oh.
My whole heart. Oh my God.
He was the best. And, you know, I actually, I had a family member reach out to me who was in the courtroom and said that when Captain Comover finished the cross, or he was about to finish the cross, he turned around and he said, like whispered to the other prosecutors or whatever. He's like, I can't break him. They were trying to break him. They were trying to get him to, and he said, I can't break him. They said that DJ is like just like the sweetest, you know, like that he like, you know, he does the farming thing or whatever. So like he has like a, you know, a goat that he walks on a leash and stuff. I'm like, oh, like how cute is that? Like that, you know, like everybody in the area knows him and like just what a kind soul he is and stuff. And oh, broke my heart.
And Captain Comover just kept coming at him and coming at him and coming at him. And he just was like, I'm just going to sit here and be a decent, honest human being. I can't break him. I want to break that man. Ugh. Honestly, you know, I was like, did they prove that those boys had guns? Maybe, maybe not. Like, what might that have been a gun in his pocket? Probably. But do we have absolute concrete truth? No. You know why I believe it? Because DJ said it. DJ was the first reliable witness, civilian witness in that trial to testify. Everybody else got up there with some mess. It was ridiculous.
I would argue that he is probably the first witness, honestly, because I think that there were a lot of very similar. Listen, I am very much like you. I like to give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt, give them grace. But law enforcement, a lot of their testimony, a lot of the same lines. A lot of the same lines from all of them, and not in a way that this is professionally how we answer it, just in like just consistently the same stuff. I just think that he is the person who, no matter what order things were thrown at him, he could do it. And it pisses me off so bad, Brandi, to hear that he said, I tried to break him. There are ways that you can do that appropriately. You don't set domestic violence victims back 20 years to do it. You don't. You just don't. And it makes me so angry. So angry.
Like they tried to break Tyler and they did it. They did it by, they picked and picked and picked and picked. But to say that, you know, her attacking him like that, domestic violence is a natural reaction, isn't it? To being called, you know, a B word. And I'm like, okay, well then what, then she was calling him that first. So if he'd have smacked her, would we have just been like, oh, it's a natural reaction, you know, like that. That part triggered me so bad. I had to mute myself. And
that's next.
I love that clip. I love that. Was my favorite part of Friday. Oh my God, it was the best.
I could not handle it.
No.
At you.
But look at the face starting off.
No, sir.
Yeah.
They had every chance to do it, didn't they?
Sir, I can't. I'm going to testify on my behalf.
Well, from your perspective, you said that Tyler had the gun 10 inches away from your head, right?
That's correct.
But to pull the trigger right then, you wouldn't be here, right?
Yes, sir.
Didn't do it, did he?
No, sir.
When you're fighting with Sebastian and Chris out in the middle of the road, could have shot you then, right?
Yes, sir.
Could have shot your brother, right?
Yes, sir.
You're out on the lawn fighting and having. Did you hear your neighbor say it was a ruckus outside? Did you hear him testify to that, Mr. Estes?
No, sir.
All right. But during that fight, they could have shot you then, right?
Yes, sir.
Didn't do it, did they?
No, sir.
All right. So then I think that Sebastian and Chris head back to the car, right?
Listen, there's a lot of things in this world to be embarrassed about. That is not one of them, because you were doing everything that we were doing.
The best. We just didn't have cameras on us. Because I was like, I was losing my mind. It was ridiculous.
I was totally losing it. I knew I was getting angrier and angrier, and I knew that he wasn't going to stop, and I was like, I need to mute myself now, because I needed to say all of the words that were going to be coming out of my mouth, and I wanted to yell, and I didn't want to break anybody's eardrums. And so I was like, BRB, I'm just gonna mute myself. I wish I'd have turned my camera off too, but then I'm like like I'm, whatever,
You did it perfect, girl. I used all my best cuss words. I pulled out the old ones. I got the ones from my jacket pocket. I had all of them. They was all here on the floor. All my best curse words, because I was okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was heated.
Me too.
It's
ridiculous.
No, it's the. I mean, this is the reality of what they apparently think is supposed to happen. What I think is supposed to happen is we need to cast these people, and so I think we're going to. And I'm also going to see if I can find some way to make this fit in a better fashion to make sure that everybody can see all the things.
Okay, I could see
So,
that.
Gwendolyn Christie is Julianne Brandt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got.
Oh my God!
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Dead on.
Maren Morris was another lookalike for her too. Maren Morris looked like a lot like
wow.
The brows are strong. The brows are strong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon. Did you listen, Kathy? Did you hear about the whole brow debacle?
Oh my gosh. Were you
What
here?
brow debacle?
I think that you were on the Today Show when this was happening, because I had said something about it right before we went, right before court started. I was reading my emails, and I had somebody who emailed me and said that, overall she liked the show, but that she couldn't really watch because it was distracting for her that that my eyebrows are not dark enough, or like that I don't have enough eyebrows or something like that. And I was like, I am a natural blonde. I can't.
My God.
You get what you get. You don't pitch a fit. Like they're even thinner since I went through chemo and stuff, I've got what I've got. I am not going to wake up early to put on makeup for everybody. I'm sorry. So my eyebrows.
I've had in my comments, you know what's funny? When I get really like nasty comments on my feed, it's almost always from men. Like across sometimes women say like snarky little things, but men lose their mind, and overwhelmingly it's I need more makeup, I have a big mouth, and I should grow my hair out. And I'm like, thank you for the nickel, sir. Because every time you comment whatever, I'm gonna take your little nickel and I'm gonna delete you, because my delete finger is very strong. Also, no F's to give. Fresh out, my friend, fresh out. Your opinion?
Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir.
That's
crazy though.
I had, before I started streaming, when I was doing my recap videos, I had people that told me that if I took time to do my hair and makeup, that I might get more views. I'm like, if you're here to look for my hair and makeup, you're at the wrong channel, honey, because there were some that I did when I just got back from the gym, so I'm still sweaty and hair is a mess. There are some that I had actually didn't look completely homeless that day. So you get what you get, you don't pitch fit. But I'm not worried about how I look on here. I'm worried about my thoughts and my reactions and the facts and the justice, and those are my priorities. Not
I'm never in a bra. 90% of the time my face is not washed. I'm not wearing makeup. What they don't know is I'm not wearing drawers either, but thank goodness you can only see me from the waist up. Like, what are y'all doing? Nah, we're here for the kiki. We're here for the gossip, the rumor, and the innuendo. If you're here for the beauty channel, then I'm gonna need you to scroll on. This is not it.
It's
Craig T. Nelson is dead on.
Craig T. Nelson is dead on. Here's the thing: if you're gonna comment or criticize Brandi, you better come at me with something. I can't tell you how many times I've heard, it sounds like a lot, really not. But every time that I hear that somebody's coming after Brandi, I write in our little mod chat. I'm just like, they better come for me and leave Brandi alone. Brandi has.
It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Oh my God.
How she is all the time, which is wonderful. And so it just drives me nuts. It just drives me crazy. So Craig T. Nelson is definitely the judge.
Love it. Yep, CeeLo.
There you go. to be like, forget you.
Even his voice and everything, his voice too sounded just like him.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
for sure.
so funny. That's so funny. I love it.
There's two more things, and then we can kind of get to just chatting about stuff. And also,
Y'all got me up in the middle of the night. Wait, it's really 11:17 p.m.?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Some
We're almost
night
done.
owls. Okay, go ahead. It's fine.
We're almost done. I want to.
My dogs are holding their toys like this. We ain't in bed yet. Go ahead.
Brandi posted something that I thought was really important to read, and then I posted something. Not that it's important, but it gives some details straight from Palm Springs website, and so I want to go through those two tweets, and I'm gonna hit mine first, and then Brandi's, which is I think more important. So here's what I found doing some research, because I like to back up my stuff, and you probably can't really see that very well. Let's see here. Hopefully that's a little better. So the double standard that is grossly evident in the Travis Rudolph trial that's being pushed, whether they like it or not, by Palm Springs PD is abhorrent and, my favorite word, asinine. How does somebody actually justify a 17-minute investigation? How does one actually justify not searching for the truth because there was no credible information to look for it? That is quite literally your job. The primary role of the investigations division is to conduct follow-up investigations of initial crime or incident reports generated by the patrol division. In addition, detectives develop information and intelligence on criminal activity, look for missing persons, assist parole and probation officers, serve arrest and search warrants, and act as liaison between the crime victim or witness and the criminal justice system. None of this happened. It was an extremely gross dereliction of duties, not just one, all of them. The fact that this person's been praised and awarded, it wasn't actually awarded. She was just nominated. So I was wrong on that. I'll own that. But it's beyond me. The fact that she was nominated is beyond me. The following is from their website. Requirements for hire. Public safety officers must possess extraordinarily good sense and must demonstrate through their past behavior that they can analyze a situation quickly, make sound and responsible decisions, and take appropriate action. Critically analyze options and determine an appropriate course of action in a given situation. Act assertively and without hesitation, but without overreacting. Make quick, responsible decisions under pressure. Examples of potentially disqualifying evidence: making poor choices given known circumstances, indecision when options are not clear-cut, failure to take action when appropriate, or demonstrating insecurity about making a decision. Behavior indicating poor judgment or failure to consider appropriate options, failure to learn from past mistakes, inability or unwillingness to modify a position, rigid adherence to rules without consideration of alternative information. Failure to see or consider all options, but not limited to succumbing to peer pressure. I think we have our answer here. There's really only one reasonable outcome for this person. She hits none of the requirements. She hits all the reasons for dismissal. That, to me, answers that question entirely.
I'm absolutely waiting to hear she was fired. Absolutely. At first I was like, okay, is this her first case? Is there not a training officer? Like, she was out of her mind. She did nothing that she was supposed to do. It was ridiculous.
And the fact that she's defending it, saying that, instead of saying, you know what, I was still new at it. I do see where there are areas where, whatever. She's like, oh, well, they didn't lie about not having guns. Then what do you call it? They said they didn't have guns. The next day you find out they had guns. So what do you call it if you don't call it lying? And then all the things about how, well, the evidence didn't just fall on my lap. Like, what were you doing? What were you doing? Ugh. Drove me nuts.
That lady.
Now, Brandi, do you want to read your tweet? Okay, I will pop it up right here.
I don't have my glasses on, so.
Oh no. Is it big enough?
Let me just make it bigger on mine. Okay.
That made me laugh because I'm 2 years old.
Okay. Behave. All right. For those who okay. For those who aren't getting it, remember Mr. Estes, the neighbor? We all loved him, didn't we? Now imagine it was his house those 4 men showed up to in the middle of the night, armed, attacking him and his brother. Picture it. They sucker punched him, beat him up, told him he was going to die tonight, and pointed guns at his brother's head. Mr. Estes was scared for his life and his brother's. He didn't know what was going to happen. He broke away, ran inside to grab his gun, and shot toward the threat to save his brother. As the car pulled toward them, did a U-turn, and then drove away, he kept shooting, hoping that they would leave and never return and this nightmare would be over. Police find Tyler and Keyshawn, who tell them that they just went over there to talk. That's it. So police go to Mr. Estes' house, and they tell him on the megaphone to come out with his hands up. They arrest him, never once hear his side of what happened, and now he's on trial and may spend the rest of his life in prison. But let's be honest with ourselves. We all know that that wouldn't happen, don't we? BLM isn't saying Black lives mean more than white lives. It's saying that Black lives matter too. Travis Rudolph's life matters. Travis Rudolph's life matters enough to spend more than 17 minutes deciding he's to blame. His life matters enough to find out what happened and give a damn about this investigation. Travis Rudolph's life matters. Palm Beach County and the state attorney didn't think so, but I do. Free Travis Rudolph.
Preach. That's a whole sermon right there in a tweet. A whole sermon.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that, because one of the things that I kept seeing, was people were saying, like, I saw some of the people saying, well, if this would have been, a white man, and then people were saying, well, it was black on black, so it's not the same or whatever. And so I was trying to think out. I was like, how can I try to make it to where you understand that it doesn't matter that it was black on black. That wasn't the issue in this. It was the fact that it was the systemic part of it. Like it was a black man, and they don't, the Rudolphs don't feel safe. They didn't feel safe, or I should say, they didn't feel safe calling the police. That wasn't their first instinct, because it can't be. And that's unfortunate that that's how it is, but that's how it is. And
right,
and so if it would have been Mr. Estes, and him calling the police, it would be a whole different thing. And it's really, really freaking sad that it has to be that way, but it's that way. And so before I tweeted that, I texted JT, and I was like, look, I know that we don't get into anything controversial, but I was like, I may lose, followers, whatever. But I was like, but this is too important for me not to post. And I was like, to me, lives matter more than likes. And I was like, I need to post this. So he was like, he thinks the same way I do. Like, it's absolutely more important. And I hope that it helps at least a little bit, like to, for anybody who wasn't really understanding, to maybe understand why we're so upset about it.
Yep. And I love that lives matter more than likes. That's everything right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
wow.
I've been talking to some of our mods about, pushing some stuff in terms of like either lives over likes or love over likes, because honestly, I mean, we obviously love, and I know you probably feel the same way, we love this community that we have. And we certainly want to welcome all kinds of opinions as long as they're not hate-filled.
Right.
But to us, putting lives and love over likes is important to us, because that way we can be ourselves. And we think that that's how everybody likes us, is as ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that, we obviously, we're not trying to do the whole virtue signaling thing. We're not trying to do the we're better than you thing by posting that stuff, but it's a reality, I think.
Yeah. And it's an honest conversation, right? Because Brandi didn't have to write that. Even if she thought it, she didn't have to put it up there, because certainly there are going to be people who are mad or upset or say, whatever kind of terrible things. But like, the truth is the truth, and reality is reality. And these guys, the Rudolph family was facing a terrible situation where calling the police was not necessarily going to be the safest thing for them. They're trying to save lives in the fastest amount of time for these thugs who just rolled up on their house for no good reason. The whole thing was crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we saw just why they were worried, because as soon as the police showed up, they were out with their hands up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Look at
And
the
they
job
Come
that
out
they
of the
gave him.
house.
they were criminals.
And Travis sat in prison for a year
Yeah.
before they released him with the ankle monitor. And
Yeah.
I was hearing an attorney, a criminal defense attorney on, I think it was Court TV, saying the reason they even gave him bail was because the state realized at some point they had no case, because it's uncommon for them to let murderers out with just an ankle monitor for fear that they will reoffend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Craziness.
Yes.
But
well, I hope he
Oh,
gets a
man.
contract in the NFL or sportscasting or something like that. I hope there's some amazing silver lining for this. And I hope that DJ is able to go on back to Alabama and keep walking his goats and his chickens and his whatever he wants to do. Like,
I know.
get
They
some
said
barn
he'll-
cats and stuff.
They said he'll take his goat sometimes down to like downtown Palm Beach or whatever, and on a goat, like take his little goat on a leash down there and walk. I'm like, how adorable is that?
I want a goat on a leash. No, I don't. But a goat's delicious. But that's so sweet.
Yeah, so sweet.
Here you go. Here you go.
Yay!
He's a handsome fella too. He
He sure is.
Yeah, and he's so respectful. So
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Also,
It's
he
so
looks like
great.
Jesus, but that's another story. If you go on the community tab on my page, I put a picture, that exact picture of Travis next to the picture of Black Jesus that my grandma had, and I'm telling you, it is the same person. I think it's the last thing I posted on the community tab with Travis
Here it
and
is.
Black Jesus.
I got you.
Fast.
I got you. Yeah.
Look, I mean DJ. Yep.
he does.
He looks like Black Jesus.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
Now listen, this might make you uncomfortable, but just so that we can get everybody to understand how fantastic you are, is there a
Oh my
video you would like me to play?
Oh my God.
I don't care which one it is. but-
This Your Business was my favorite, most recent one. West Virginia. It's long though, but I play them all at 2 speeds, so that's just me.
Okay. So is it this one? Is this the right one?
Yeah. That's the one. See, no bra, face not washed.
Do you want me to play it on like 1.25?
Play it at 1.5 because that's the way I hear it in my head.
That's how we usually watch stuff at night. So they're kind of used to it, I think. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Good
Oh my
morning,
God.
friends. It's Friday. I'm so excited that it's Friday. Today we're back in, where were we? We're back in Florida with the case of Travis Rudolph. State of Florida versus Travis Rudolph. But listen, that's not what I'm gonna talk to you about this morning, because we're gonna go into day 7. I'm gonna be over on Brandi Churchwell's live stream today, watching the trial with all of my true crime friends. But and I talked about day 6 yesterday. Listen. We have some very important business to deal with this morning, and that is one Taylor Shabusiness. Now, this is the lady who is accused. Can you just be accused if we saw what happened with our very own eyeballs? I don't know. But she attacked her lawyer in court the other day. She is accused of some very gruesome crimes. I described them here, I think, on the Court TV channel feed, on the Court TV playlist. I talked about it. I need to find a way to talk about this trial, to talk about this case, and maintain decorum. So bear with me as I try to, remain ladylike with my pinkies out when I drink my coffee and my tea or whatever. But child, this case is a mess. To recap, Taylor was having an intimate encounter with a nice young man that she met 2 or 3 days before. I'm not sure, they didn't know each other for that long. But this dude, 25 years old, she's only 24. Now listen, if you look at her pre-arrest pictures, oh, she's sexy. Oh yeah, oh, she's a buxom woman. She has all the right curves, but listen, like that old Melanie Gibb, her kitty is feral. It does tricks. It does all the things that a nice regular girl might not do. I mean, what you do in the privacy of your own private spaces, the back of the car, the bedroom, the Walmart, child, none of my business. But you could tell this girl was putting in work. She went hard in the paint. I know that's a sports reference, and I don't know nothing about sports. You know what I mean? Like, she was doing things. So they enjoyed some narcotics. They were narcotics enthusiasts. I believe their drug of choice was meth. I have questions about meth that maybe we can explore another time. But the one thing I will say is that my understanding of meth, and I don't know that much about meth, is that it's made from like cold medicine or allergy medicine. I have terrible allergies. Does meth help you with sneezing? Because if it helps you sneezing, I would be willing to try it. But it also helps you with murder, and I don't know. No, thank you. I'm just going to stick to like non-drowsiness formula, Dayquil, Sudafed, whatever I need. But please tell me in the comments if meth helps you with sneezing, because if it does, I can make a case for use. Anyway, but I don't encourage or recommend the use of meth for your allergy situation. Claritin also works. Anyway. So they were enjoying some lovely narcotics. I don't know what pairs with that, but maybe they had some to eat too. I don't know, maybe not. And they were in his mama's basement getting it in. Okay, that's rude and disrespectful, but fine. Because if you're gonna be doing the oochie coochie, you need to get your own place to go to a hotel in the back of your car or the aforementioned Walmart. So they had experimented historically with choking one another. So she was like, you know, it'll be fun. Let me get a chain and put it around your neck. Nope. Signs that you have gone in the wrong direction. A chain, like your hands are bad enough, but I have a theory that your hands might get tired, and even if they're trying to mumble the safe word, if your hands cramp up, then you just gonna let go and maybe not kill the person. But that's not what she did. She put a chain around this dude's neck and she was enjoying choking him. I would imagine that if you don't have breath in your lungs, that it's hard to shout out pamplemousse or whatever your safe word is. So, do they even have one? If you're a meth enthusiast, do you have a safe word? I don't know what kind of boundaries they had with each other, but she was enjoying it so much, she killed him. That was a lot of enjoyment. After she killed him, she dismembered him. Now, keep in mind, this is all at his mama's house. It's disrespectful to have intimate relations in your mama's house. It's very disrespectful to murder somebody. Your mother has to live in that house. How's she gonna sell that house? You have destroyed her resale value and been disrespectful to her sheets, her towels, the sanctity of her own home. Listen, don't let my sons come up here. Well, I don't know what these boys be doing, because honestly, sometimes I just don't want to know. I just
you all can finish that one. You need to go and you need to subscribe to Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo.
So funny.
It's so good.
I just have thoughts about things sometimes.
We love your
Also, don't be doing it in your mama's house because it's rude. It's just rude. It's rude.
Yes.
If me and Daddy want to do it on the dining room table, it's our house. Go on to your room, close the door. But you can't be doing stuff in your mama's house.
It's so true.
Right? I had the common decency to get together with my boyfriend in the back of his car. Manners. I was raised right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Oh, wait. I should also add just one quick thing. Child, it's the middle of the night now. One quick thing. In one of my videos, I said that at one point, my husband went into my son's room and found a girl in handcuffs, right? Which is a totally true story. But they were laughing and kikiing and whatever. And I was like, what? And then I was like, I haven't seen that girl since. Just for the record, she's still alive. I asked my son today. I was like, where's she at?
Gotta make sure.
Can you hold up a newspaper with her face or something? We need proof of like, where that bitch at? You better not be killing people over here, destroying my resale value. I wish you would. But I live in Bergen County, so they would buy the house anyway. I could still have an active dead body in here. They would be like, oh, you close to New York City, lady. Here's your money. They'd just take it. It's fine. Sorry.
Listen, Kathy, thank you so much for joining me and us tonight. I really appreciate
Thank you for having me. Such an honor. Oh my
for
God.
you being semi-nervous about the whole live thing. Boom, 100%. You probably should do it yourself. Well,
Child, I have a job where I don't work that hard. This looked like a lot of hard work. I was awake this whole time. I take naps at work. Y'all not gonna pay me to take a nap? This is lovely. I'm gonna drop in, do a 5-minute video in the morning, and take my behind to work. Let my sugar daddy keep paying me. But thank you. It's so sweet.
We have no problem with being your mode of live, so you're more than welcome to come back
anytime,
at any point.
Anytime.
That's the way to do it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so good to see everybody over in Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, all my new gossip friends. And now we have mugs. I'm gonna get some better mugs, but I need a big mug. I need a big mug.
Yes, I need a
But
mug too.
All right. Well,
All right, y'all.
I think the only thing to do is to just say what we typically do.
Yes.
What do we say?
It's
time to go to bed. Good night.
Basically. Thank y'all for reporting to jury duty. For those of y'all who are going to be with us tomorrow, tomorrow morning, court starts at 10 a.m. Eastern, and tomorrow evening, night court starts at 8:45, 7:45 Central. So thank you for reporting to jury duty.
Good night.
We talk about a lot of hard stuff, but Mr. Rogers says look for the helpers. So do that. Be a helper. Smile. Take care of yourself and your family. Bye, everybody.